loves, it's your girl MariahSincere, and I am back with another bomb live. For those of y'all who are new to my channel, I'm an American woman who has been living abroad for the past 2 years now. I was in Medellin, Colombia, and I will be transitioning here to the Dominican Republic. So y'all are gonna see me go through that process. Guys, I've been trying to do IRLs, but the thing is, every time I try to do an IRL, it's a problem. It's either way too loud or the signal be bad in certain areas. That mess is harder than what it looks like, okay? So that's why I haven't been doing that many IRLs. But anyways, guys, I think we're going to have a good show today. I know there's been a lot of drama, and the drama kind of inspired this because I want to pivot to a bigger topic, right? So y'all know there's been a lot of drama in the travel space. There are a lot of men who think that women don't belong in certain countries, or they have made it up in their mind that women are following these men to certain countries. Now, I already proved, and I'll bring up the statistics, that women have been traveling at a much higher rate. It's not even close. Women are, matter of fact, I'll bring it up in a second, but women tend to travel more for leisure, just for the pleasure of traveling, than men do, and it's not even close. I think what it is a lot of the men have certain things in their algorithm. So if you're a man that travels, if you're a passport bro, if you're a man that wants to move abroad and own a business, or if you're a man that wants to travel abroad and do pay for play, there are going to be certain things or certain people or certain concepts in your algorithm. And I think what it is this is all these men are seeing all day. So they genuinely believe that men travel more than women, and it's just not true. And I've been hearing this claim lately that American women who are moving abroad are failing, right? They're failing. They're not having any success. And this was something I recently started hearing a couple times, especially as this conversation surrounding me has evolved. And it was just very interesting to me because before I even entered into this travel space in this capacity, where the majority of my audience is male, I was watching a lot of travel YouTubers like Stephanie Perry. And on Instagram, I follow a lot of women that live abroad, and they've been living abroad for years. So I couldn't understand why the men are saying that the women are not finding success when they move abroad. So today we're going to explore this topic. Now, I'll give y'all my opinion. I think a lot of it is projection, for example, or made up shit. I'm just going to be honest. I believe a lot of it is made up shit. So for example, I get a lot of men ask me, you don't feel insecure when you go around these Latina women or you go around these Colombian women? And like, it's never crossed my mind to feel insecure. Like, the reality of the matter, I know like the narrative online is that American women cannot get men, or that men don't want American women, but y'all, that's just not the reality on the ground. If you are an attractive woman, men do not care what country you came from. If you're an attractive woman and you have a good personality, good personality, actually, that's just the plus. If you're an attractive woman, any country that you go to, unless it's just extremely different, the beauty standard is just extremely different, then you're going to have a easy time. So, for example, Latino men tend to they will date whatever race of woman. They will, as long as she look good and they vibe. Latino men, to me, tend to be one of the most open groups to interracial dating. And part of the reason why it's that way is because y'all have to understand, they've been mixing in for generations and generations there. So there are already women that look like me, or there are already full Black women that are in the Latin American community. So I never understood that. I feel like I get more. I got a lot of attention in the United States, but men outside of the United States tend to approach more cold approach, and they do it and don't care if you reject them. Let me get to these comments. Hey, B Sharp, check out the live that a YouTuber named Travel Wolf did about your razor braids appearance. I'll check it out in a minute. Can I pin it? I'm gonna like star that comment so I can come back to it. They probably don't trust them. Probably, I don't know. Hey there, you are so attractive to me. Thank you, I appreciate it. So I honestly did want to explore this topic. So I was like, let me go on TikTok and let me go on Instagram. And I searched. I was like, I just put in why I moved back to the United States, right? So at first I was like, women moving back to the United States after living abroad. I was like, that's a little too specific. I wasn't finding anything. Nothing was coming up. Then I put why I moved back to the United States. Now, to be fair, majority of the people who were moving back to the United States were moving back. They were women, right? After living abroad. But then when I went through the stories, and I'll show you, I was just clicking anyone that was relevant. Majority of the reasons why they were moving abroad was because it was never a long-term plan to begin with. That's what I kept seeing. They were like, well, I only plan to do it for like a year or 2 years. And then, you know, that's what happened. So we shall see. Latin men just want to hit. Please, been in Latin America for 15 years. I mean, that has not been my experience. I'm sorry. That's not been my experience. Like, it's not been my experience at all dealing with Latinos. I don't know what to say to that. Okay. So let's begin. Now let me go to TikTok and I'm gonna react to some TikTok videos. Here we go. All right, I'm about to share my screen with y'all. Give me 1 second. I know I'm getting started slow. Y'all hit the like button. Yeah, what man don't want to hit? Like, I think all men, when y'all see a woman that's attractive, y'all want to hit, right? I mean, that's not debatable, but the just part is debatable. I mean, you'll know, like, for example, one thing I liked about my boyfriend when I met him, okay, so here, everybody, like the men, they will holler. And you can tell, I do say this a lot, like men who do all that cat calling and stuff like that, most of the time, those men already got some type of woman at home. They do. Men that cat call, a lot of times they are just trying to hit. A lot of times they got a woman or multiple women, right? But like, if men actually approach you the correct way, or me personally, I don't like men that approach me. And I'm gonna tell you why. Men that tend to approach, a lot of the times you gotta quit because they're real bold. So a lot of times I've seen it with some of my male homeboys. They real bold and they slick, they smooth with it, right? I actually prefer a man to kind of sit back, watch me a little bit. I can see that there's interest, but there's still that factor of, you know, I'm not gonna just be out here chasing any and everything. Like, those are the type of men that I prefer, to be honest, and I tend to get along with. And it tends to be, you know, those type of men, they're not going to just do you all the way dirty because they had discipline to begin with. You know, even if, like, there have been situations where they've been like, yeah, I was attracted to you. I thought you were really beautiful, but I didn't want to make you uncomfortable, or I didn't want to do this or that. Those type of situations and those type of men tend to be the best relationships to get into, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. Okay. Yeah, y'all get the likes up, please. Latin men are broke because their currency. American women should stay in America. Easy mode with men that make good money. But here's the thing. There are plenty of Latino men that make good money for where they live. They're broke to you because you're an American coming with your American dollars. But like, just like a lot of American men that come to Latin America, if they went back to the United States, their dollar would be devalued. They wouldn't have the spending power that they do in Latin America. It's the same thing. A lot of Latino men are doing good for being in their country. Do they have as much money as an American man living in the mainland, or perhaps as much money as an American man that's able to have an online business? No, but you don't need as much money in Latin America as you do in the United States. Most women get approached at least 10 times a day. That's why it's hard to approach women. I honestly think it's better when you just let the woman, let the woman, that don't mean be mean or hateful, but if you're chill and you got a relaxed vibe and you're really looking for something serious, I think it should be a little bit on the woman to try to initiate something and show her interest. That don't necessarily mean she got to be chasing you down or nothing like that, but just, talk to you or make conversation. Latin men are not broke, dummy. Y'all Americans out of line. Yeah, and there are a lot of here in Dominican Republic, there's a lot of money. There's a lot, especially you go to the west side. Baby, these men got money. So I don't know. I don't see it the way y'all see it. And that's why I think the narrative is misconstrued. What up, Rico? I think the narrative is misconstrued. That's why a lot of the times y'all say American women, I think y'all assume American women are not having success abroad because y'all are looking on social media and y'all see a lot of American women on social media saying, oh, well, I'm not going to date a man if he doesn't make $100K a year. So you're like, okay, well, all American women think like that. So automatically, if she moves to Colombia, she's not going to want to date Colombian men because they don't make $100K a year. When y'all don't understand the average American woman that is moving abroad and she's a single woman, she's already got a different mindset. Like she's already to some degree broken free of the matrix or wants to get out of the rat race. So she's not coming into it thinking the same way that the Instagram baddie or like just an average American woman would on the internet. Like, oh, I expect this man that comes from a country with a weaker currency than us to make just as much as an American. That doesn't make sense. Like if she thought like that, she would be slow, like stupid, What's up? Thank you so much. I sincerely hope that MariahSincere is well today. I'm awesome, James. Yes, American women who find love overseas move silence. We don't make the streets hot like American men do. What's up, Sarah? That was another thing I was going to say. All of the American women that I knew, like that I met in Colombia, that found a man abroad, and it's very common, they are not on social media. And they're not, like, they don't do social media. They don't talk about their relationships. For example, I have a friend who was Cambodian American, but she's very much Americanized. Like she grew up over there her whole life. She went to Dubai, she met her husband, and her husband is Italian, right? And they got married, and now they have, they've been married for like 10 years. They have 2 kids, right? So she met him, an Italian man in Dubai. They got married and moved to Colombia together. My friend Deandra Ortiz, who does my workshops with me, she's Colombian American, but she was raised in America, moved to Colombia, and her boyfriend, she got a Venezuelan boyfriend. There is another Black woman I know, Lauren, okay? She moved to Colombia within a year. She was pregnant and married. Like she got that visa. Y'all be saying the Colombians be using the women for the visa. No, she made sure she got that visa. She secured that visa. So I could really go on and on and on with all the women, American women that I have met abroad that got married. The thing was, were they willing to adjust certain standards and expectations? And many are, especially after an extended period of time in a country of loneliness. Now, what I will say that I did not consider when I moved that might be a contributing factor to women who might go back home because they can't socially integrate. When I was up, Born Ready, good to see you. Good to see you. Rich Latinos are white, not interested in Black American. Are you Latino? Why are you speaking for? Are you Latino? Just the true Black woman in Latin America is just an exotic sexual fantasy. I know plenty of Black women who are married to Latino men. And I mean full Black women. So what are you talking about? I have a Dominican boyfriend. I have a Dominican boyfriend. And I know I'm his type because all his exes before me look just like me. So what are you talking about? I don't get it. I don't understand this. Whatever. I'm not gonna keep on with that. Are you Latino? You speaking for Latinos? Like Latino men don't really tend to care like that. If you find, they will date you. If you find you got a good personality, they rock with you, they will date you. But I digress. Anyway, what was I saying? One thing I never considered, and this is why I would kind of go back and forth with the men, because they were more worried about my dating life than me when I went to Colombia. When they were like, well, what would a single mom be doing in Colombia that doesn't fit their dating or mating strategy? And I think what a lot of men fail to understand is that when most women move abroad, we don't think about dating at all. But I'm going to say that might be to our detriment. That might be to our detriment. I didn't have dating in mind at all when I moved to Colombia. There were so many other things on my list, and I never considered maybe I'm going to get to a point where I actually do want to date or I actually do want to have a man. And I put myself into this dating market in Medellin where I'm not really attracted to all of the guys. So that has like significantly shrink my pool because I only saw like one or two men that I even thought were attractive in Medellin. Now, maybe in other parts of Colombia, they were finer, but here's the thing. I went to Medellin for very specific reasons. I didn't want to go to other parts of Colombia. Does that make sense? So it's like I didn't consider partnership at all or finding a mate at all when I moved to Colombia. And then when I got there, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna, I don't see anything that I like. And I've been single for so long, I'm used to it. I'm just gonna stick with it. But a lot of people can't handle that. So for example, I see a lot of African American women who might move to Korea, right? Or China or Japan. And they don't, and they move there because they're not thinking about dating. I promise you. Because if they were, they have significantly put themselves at a disadvantage. Because A, you're not his type and he's not your type. The beauty standard is too different. Both of y'all don't want to date each other. And even if y'all could, now you have to deal with societal norms and pressures, right? Thank you, Rico Young. Black men tend to travel in exclusively Black male spaces, so that's all they see and know. They don't travel among diverse races, so they also don't realize a wide range of diverse women alive. And the ones that I'm going to show y'all today on TikTok, when I put women, why I moved back to the United States, there are so many different races of women. That's what I'm saying. Y'all got to get out of this. Y'all got to get out of this box, right? Y'all got to get out of this box. There are plenty of women having success abroad, just like there are plenty of men who are having success abroad. And yes, there are women that are having to go home, but there are also men that go home after, they have failed relationships or they mess up their money. So I don't think this is a situation, like this shouldn't be a situation of the men are having more success or the women are having more success abroad. It shouldn't be, in my opinion, it shouldn't be a competition. I don't understand where that comes from, that needs to try to compete amongst the sexes, when at the end of the day, we are all immigrants to other countries trying to live out a dream. But I digress. But yeah, it's too many people that are stuck in a bubble. But anyways, I do see a pattern of like Black women going to certain places like Asia, where they're not attracted to the men, or the men might not be attracted to them. And it's because the beauty standard is so different. And then like after, 5 or 10 years, they leave because they're like, I already accomplished all my career goals, but they never got married or found a partner to where like they had planted roots to where they can stay. Do y'all understand? Like they don't want to leave or they have a reason to stay. So then they're like, okay, well, I did all that. I accomplished everything I need to accomplish. Now I'm going back to the United States. And I do think that us women do need to consider, before we move to other countries, now that I think about it, dating in markets where we are attracted to the men, and there are greater abundances of men that have the qualities that we want. I'll use myself as an example. What's up, Travel Squad? I'm traveling to Greece. Broke people can't go. I'll use myself as an example. So, like when I went to Colombia, I was not attracted to the men in Medellin, but I was content with that. I genuinely thought I was going to be single forever. I thought when I went to the Dominican Republic, I was going to just stay for a couple months and then like go back home. Well, y'all, like literally the first week I came to Dominican Republic, first of all, I'm like, wow, I've never seen this many of my type in one space. They're literally everywhere. So now it's not even a matter of can I find somebody I'm physically attracted to? Like that was out the way. Now it's like now I can worry about other things like are we gonna align mentally? Are you a good person? Because my type was everywhere I turned. I ain't never seen nothing like it. And then after that, like very quickly, I met my boyfriend now, and he was like ready to be in a relationship, and he's like, yeah, I live in the United States. I don't want to live there. You're gonna live here, and he's started making y'all will see making plans for that, but like it just happened so suddenly. And versus me coming from a place where I literally had got into that routine thinking I'm going to be single forever. And it was like all of a sudden I wasn't anymore. You know what I'm saying? And now I'll be 1000% honest. Now that I'm like in a relationship with somebody, I have somebody checking for me. I have somebody to invite me to go do things. I have somebody that wants to bring me around their family. That's like making sure that I'm good. It's like 1,000 times better. It's 1,000,000 times better. Versus like in Colombia, yeah, I had my friends, but my friends had their partners, and we kind of get together when we get together. Versus somebody like really looking out for you every single day and wanting to be around you and spend their time with you. It is different. It does make the experience more fun. Why are we competing like we're here to travel and live life and date around and see what you like? What's the problem? That's what I'm saying. What is the problem? Life is meant to be experienced. And some people are going to move abroad and they're going with these previous misconceptions, or they might go with the wrong mindset and it doesn't work out for them. Also, you got to consider this. If somebody left the United States and they were able to go and sustain themselves for 10 years or 8 years, hell, even 5 years, was it a failure if they moved back home? Because, most people can't do that. Like, to me, if you can sustain yourself abroad for 5 years or more, that was an accomplishment. I don't see that as a failure. And people move back for various reasons. They might have sick parents, or they're like, I want to make more money, or I want to move into a career field that's not really available for me here. So I don't understand why it's this competition. Salute to you. Your experience is your experience. Thank you. Salute to you too. Sounds like you're very happy. Salute to you. I hope everything works out for you. Thank you. No, I am very happy. I am very happy. And that's why I'm like, okay, that's why I told y'all I want to document this. Not necessarily like I wouldn't necessarily bring my man on camera. He's not really a social media type of person. But just kind of like telling y'all what the experience is. Y'all will see him if y'all follow me on Instagram or something, but to get on YouTube, he's not really that, he's real like, he's the dude, he don't be all on here like that. Not the dudes that be on here like that. What am I trying to say? He's very, like them old school dudes that don't get on social media. That's how he act. Dating is harder for women overseas, but not impossible. It's difficult for men also. It's just they are more transactional in their dating. The thing is, men are more or less picky than women. That's the problem. So, for example, men will go to Asia and date the women there. Men will go to Europe and date the women there. They'll go to Africa. They'll go any country in Latin America and date the women there. Then you have people like me. I'm not dating in Peru. I'm not dating in Ecuador either. Barely dating in Mexico. Like you got to be a certain type. Like y'all get what I'm trying to say. I'm not dating in China. I'm not dating in Japan. I'm not dating in the Middle East. So there are so many countries where I'm not even open to dating the men from there because I'm just simply not attracted. Versus men are easier, you know what I'm saying? I think men just, as far as attraction goes, y'all have more variety in what y'all will be attracted to and what you'll be willing to at least lay down with. Versus women, the standard for even laying down with a man, just doing the do, is a lot higher than what men have for women. And that's why men tend to go abroad and get into relationships faster. It's not necessarily just because everybody tries to make it a money thing. It's not just about money. It comes down to like sheer physical attraction at the end of the day. So you have to understand, if you're a North American woman, you're used to men who have a lot more muscle on them. You're used to men who have a lot more height on them. And then you'll go to other countries where maybe they live in a higher altitude, so they just didn't have the potential to get as taller or as big, or maybe they eat less, or they're a little bit malnourished, so the men did not grow to their maximum potential. And it's so hard to go from that to that. So you really, as a woman, have to do your due diligence and say, if I'm going to move abroad and I'm single and I would like to find somebody, we do need to start thinking, where can I go where the men are going to have an aesthetic that is pleasing to me? And there's a place. I mean, there are so many countries. There's a place for you. But then even that, it's not just about that. Then you got to think about infrastructure. You got to think about transportation. You got to think about security. There are so many other things that go into it. But yes, us women do tend to be more picky when we move abroad. I think the issue is with what is black men? They don't want or you mean unmarried black men? They don't want black women happy. No other race or ethnicity cares what black women are doing. I'll say this, Sarah. It does seem, and I'm just saying it's like, I'm not trying to I think you're talking about a certain particular group of black men that are in this space that I'm talking about too, because it's certainly not all. Like, it's some cool dudes that you will meet abroad that also still date black women too. Like, they'll go date other races of women, but they still date black women, and they don't have no animosity, and they don't want to see black women fail, right? But then kind of like those dudes that were on the panel that I was on the other night with Razor Ray, you do have a subsector of black men in the space who, first of all, you got to understand, a lot of them got famous or got their claim to fame by bashing black women. Oh, the reason why we're moving abroad is because black women are terrible or American women are terrible. Okay, cool. So we're leaving y'all. We're getting away from y'all. And then they don't want to see, oh, you know what? These black women can actually go to another country and get into a healthy relationship, because the narrative is that we were the problem. So if black women are able to move abroad and get married and have families, then that just completely discounts that narrative. And to be fair, most black women that do move abroad, if they are open to dating other races of men, are more than they do settle down and they do get married. I've seen it so many times. That's true. Men's preference just be female. That's it. And women have so many other standards. Salute, Mariah. You're up next, soldier. Thank you. I appreciate you. Tell me you will be there here in Dominican Republic. I'll be here in 6 months. I will. You'll see. You're a total exception. You're the 1 in a million female. There's no such thing as a passport sis. Here's the thing, the women don't call themselves passport sisses, is what you got to understand. The women are not moving abroad. That's the point I'm making, y'all. The women are not moving abroad to find relationships. They're not even thinking about that. The ones that do find relationships when they move abroad, it was because they were open to the idea of it, and they met some men that they were either attracted to or willing to try something different. But women don't travel for a lot of the same reasons, or they don't move abroad for a lot of the same reasons men do. So when y'all see these women are moving abroad and they're not getting married, you see it as a failure because that might be your goal. Or if you see these women are moving abroad and they're not dating, you see it as they're failing because those were your goals. But the women came with different goals to begin with. So a lot of the men are judging the women based on a standard that she's not even thinking about. Do y'all understand? That's the point that I'm trying to make. Y'all please hit the like button. Y'all please hit the like button. Most men have issues with their mothers. They need therapy, not travel. A lot do. A lot do. Especially the ones that are constantly attacking me. Like, I did not do nothing to y'all, to be honest. My cousin and her friend go to Jamaica every 3 months, and many of them. Y'all keep on talking about these women going to Jamaica, and I really don't know nothing about that, to be honest. I ain't going to Jamaica. I ain't never had to travel for no peen, so I don't understand that. I don't understand that. It's Jamaican men in the United States. Okay, so I'm gonna respond. We're gonna pull up some TikToks, and we're gonna hear from the ladies why they moved back to the United States. We're gonna get it from the horse's mouth. Okay, I'm gonna start with the African American sisters.
So let me put this.
So this says, we moved back to the U.S. after living abroad for 8 years. Who is we? She got a family?
This question to rest in regards to why did we move back to the U.S. after living abroad for 8 years? It was for personal reasons. That's it. But when we were there, we were just kind of trying to figure out if we were to put ourselves or plug ourselves back into the US system, how is that going to work? How is that going to work with education? How is that going to work with living, finding a job, so on and so forth, running our businesses, buying a vehicle, like all of these things that we literally have not had to worry about for 8 years. And then coming back to literally a completely different world and having reverse culture shock and not knowing like what to do or where to go. The worst thing in the world is for people to tell you to go home, and then you go home and it's unrecognizable. You are literally driving down the street that you grew up on and you don't even recognize your own childhood home. That's how devastating it was moving back. So we left 4 months after that, and we've been gone ever since. So let me put this question to rest in regards to why did we move back to the US after living abroad for 8 years? It was for personal reasons. That's it. But when we were there, we were just kind of trying to figure out if we.
It sounds like she might have a family. Let's hear. I think she's a single Black woman. Let's hear what she had to say.
So why did I come back to the US after living in Italy for 3 years? Number one,
She was in Italy. I'm surprised, girl, because now she's that type, beautiful. I told y'all, these type of Black women, these beautiful, classy Black women like that, model type physique, I'm surprised she didn't get married. Those are the ones that go to Europe and get snatched up. So let's see what happened.
Plan for Italy to be a permanent move. I moved with a very specific goal and objective in mind, which was basically to like ride out a really shitty economic situation in the US while things hopefully would get better and I would get more qualified work experience to come back and really like get my dream job.
Okay, so she never planned to stay. So there you go right there. And since she never planned to stay, she probably wasn't taking relationships seriously while she was there.
So I left to continue my education. I got an MBA and I studied like luxury fashion. I got hired after my internship, so I ended up staying and working in fashion in Italy for a couple of years. But I always knew I would go. And then the things that led me to decide to come back were, number one, career growth. Italy was great for that, like La Dolce Vita, but I was still in a phase of life where like I wanted to get to the top. I wanted that CMO job. I wanted to be close to all the like innovation and growth. And that was not in Italy. That was all in the USA. I also wanted to make money. Italian salaries are really not cute. It's enough to get by when you're there, but it's not like money. You know, you're not like Black or luxury on an Italian salary. And then I also got to the point in my life where like I started dating with intention, and I knew that I wanted to get married and find my husband. And I knew that he was not going to be in Italy. He was not going to be anywhere in Europe. So I needed to.
That's what I told y'all. Women will move places where they don't want the men and go live there. So it's like you don't have any roots planted because you're not creating a family there. at all. And by family, I don't even mean she has to have kids, even just like a long-term boyfriend to where you can like integrate with his family. A lot of women are not, single women are not thinking about that. Like she said, she went with very specific career goals. And after that was done, she went home, you know? But I'm sure as attractive as she is, if she would have been open to dating Italian men, she could have got a man. The Jamaican nonsense is based on the movie How Stella Got Her Groove Back. It's some dumb red pill nonsense. Exactly. And you know what? I'll give the men credit. I'm sure there are some women that like a very, 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 very small fraction of the population of women who go to Jamaica so that they can get their back blown out. Okay. It's not a whole movement. It's not something we talk about amongst other women. Do y'all understand? That's probably like one of those really niche kind of things women do. Okay. I have never had a woman tell me she want to go to Jamaica and get her back blown out. Never heard it. Never heard it. I'm not saying it don't exist. I'm saying I never heard it. Okay. I agree with you, Mariah. However, some passport sisters face criticism because their attitude and higher income can create concerns about control and cultural differences in relationship. Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. You do have to be willing to adjust. For example, now, some things you just had to have already been at. I have always been the type, this is why I don't understand why y'all talk so bad about American women. I'm a Southern woman, okay? We were raised to keep the house clean and to cook. Not even just for a man. That's just something we started doing when we was children, right? I have always cooked and cleaned in all of my relationships, right? So it's like when I came here to Latin America, that was not necessarily a cultural difference or discrepancy because that's something I already was raised to do. So what happens is it's a transferable trait. Do y'all understand? All of this, and I can understand. I have met a Black woman before. One who every time she would like a man, she would be like, well, he don't make enough money or he can't take me here or there, this and that. This is we're in Colombia, and it's like, girl, okay, you just better prepare to be single, thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? Or you need to adjust. Why you gotta eat out luxury every time you go eat? Work students inspired by different cultures, upgrade lifestyle should be reason to move abroad. Women should be a consequence of living abroad, not the only reason. Yeah. I'm on fire. I'm trying to be. Cost of, and that's what I'm saying. Women will consider these things: cost of living, better food, lifestyle, education. We will think about all those things before we think about traveling for a man. That's why when the Homies Hub was making the claim that women are traveling for dick, my flabber was gasted. He was like, they traveling for dick. You can't tell me nothing. It's like, what? Are you a woman, sir? You don't even have to be a woman. Make that make sense. Women in the United States can get some dingling before they can get a KFC two-piece. A man will literally give you some dingling before he go buy you a two-piece. You understand? It's so easy to come by, especially considering that the men are not getting laid. They want to get laid. Why would a woman have to go travel for peen? And let's be so for real, it's American men that's got that thing on swing. And we are a nation of all different cultures. There is never a need to leave the United States solely to get some peen. Make that make sense. Thank you so much. How are you? The social learner. Thank you. I think I've seen you before. I'm a lame dude, but I got $900. What advice would you give me when it comes to dating? Again, I have $900 to spend on dates or whatever. The advice that I would give you is stop thinking about money and like the girl who like you. Because if you talking about money too much. So it's like you got $900 to spend. Sir, it don't matter if you had $100,000 to spend. That don't mean you gonna have luck in dating. You wanna find a woman that's just gonna like you for you. Honestly and truly, they out there. It's somebody out there. That's what I would do. Don't even focus on the money you gonna spend on dating. Okay, let's continue.
My ass home if I wanted to find him. And yeah, that worked out too. So I did find my husband a couple of years later. But those are the main reasons why I decided to leave. So
okay, so actually she went back to the United States and she found a husband. So she said her man wasn't in Italy. She had to go back. She had to go back to the United States to find her man. I wonder why an Italian man, and this is what's running through my mind as I'm listening to her. She moved back to the United States because she wanted more money. She wanted more luxury. I know in Italy, the taxes are high. There are a lot of government systems. And so if I had to guess why she didn't want to date Italian men, probably because they just weren't go-getters enough for her in terms of chasing the bag. She sounded like she wanted a man with a lot of money and ambition. She came back to the United States and she found that she's a very beautiful woman. You know, the problem was probably never getting a man. Very beautiful, very articulate. Okay. This is another Black woman. She said she moved back to the United States after 4 months. Okay. What happened, sis?
I am back in the United States of America. Contrary to emotional desire, I have come back because I needed to get my degree so I can leave. Okay? And start my little homestead somewhere not here. So that's about it. I just wanted to complain that I'm back in the US. I'm grateful though. I'm grateful. I can breathe. And I'm sexy. So it could be worse.
I want y'all to notice a pattern. And I've said this before. I want y'all to notice a pattern in the Black women who travel. In terms of their mannerisms and the way that they speak and the things they're into. These are not Keishas. As much as y'all, I am the most Keisha Black girl that y'all will ever probably see on the internet that moved abroad. Like, I'm more Keisha than all of them. And y'all know how I can get. I'm more Keisha than all of them. But for the most part, these are very mild-mannered, well-spoken, educated, classy, slim Black women. Do y'all think they have a problem going abroad and getting a man? They don't. So her reason was, I realized I needed to go back to school in the United States in order to accomplish my goals out of the country. That's a very valid and reasonable reason to go back to the United States. It's no different than maybe a man that's a trucker come to the Dominican Republic, staying for 6 months, and then saying, I gotta go back home and get my money up, or I gotta figure out a way where I can make some money online and go build that up and then come back. It's literally no difference. I'm not Keisha, but I'm not Karen either. I'm somewhere in between.
Welcome back.
She's like legit mad she's back. Let's see. Oh, here's another.
I have 25 days until I go back to the U.S. And a lot of people ask me, what happened? What's wrong? What happened? What happened in that country? Nothing happened in this country, honestly. My move has nothing to do with the UAE. I enjoyed the UAE. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Was everything perfect? No. But that's wherever you go, nothing is going to be perfect. I literally enjoyed this chapter of my life. It has helped me grow in a tremendous way. I just feel like in order for me to grow in another way that I would like to grow, I need to go back home for this time. And does that mean I'm going to stay there forever? I really don't know. I'm not a person.
This is a constant thing that I am hearing from these women. They had other type of ambitions that required them to go back. A lot of it seems like financial ambitions. a lot of women, I think y'all underestimate how financially ambitious a lot of women are. And y'all gotta understand, not every woman is gonna be able to do this social media thing. Just like every man is not gonna be able to do this social media thing. Not everybody is gonna be able to build and manage a business online. I say this all the time. Okay, so y'all gotta understand. I woke up this morning at 5:30 in the morning. I taught, because I teach Chinese kids English, right? I taught those classes. I had also had students today that I taught English, my adult students that I taught Spanish, right? I worked out today. I had to come home. I had to cook. I had to clean. On top of that, I had to respond to emails for my business. I had to create content that I could upload to Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, and I had to upload all that stuff. I had to spend time doing my research that I can come on here and talk to, and then I'll probably be on this live with y'all for about 3 hours. So yes, people have unrealistic expectations. Unless you are a retiree, you're gonna have to work when you're abroad. Unless you can find a really good job that is not stressful, that allows you to just work an 8-hour day, then you'll be cool. But if you are somebody who has chosen that entrepreneur route like me, the social media route, the grind doesn't stop. I work every single day. I don't have a day off. Even when y'all see me not on here, I'm working on something. So I don't have this, and this is why I tell people, like, moving abroad, it comes with other benefits. Like, for example, you might have access to cheaper healthcare. Here in Santo Domingo, you can live in a really nice neighborhood, in a really nice apartment for like $400 a month, right? Like, you can lower your expenses here, and you can have location freedom when you work abroad or when you're an entrepreneur online. But that doesn't necessarily give you the time freedom to just lounge around and go to the beach every single day like you think that it doesn't. You'll have access to healthier food, cheaper healthcare, cheaper cosmetic surgery. You won't feel as lonely because people are more social. You might have a better dating life even, right? But like, you gotta work. And I think it's easier to come to the United States and make that kind of money that these women want to make. Hey, Christian. Oh yeah, mija, I gotta go. Colombia match about to come on. Okay, I'm rooting for Colombia. Thank you. Well, right now I'm in Dominican Republic. I'm moving to Dominican Republic. I thought I told y'all that.
That likes to say,
I'm moving to Dominican Republic. I will be going a few months out of the year to do content in Colombia.
oh, I'm going back to the US for 5 years. I kind of go with the flow a bit, with a bit of structure as well. So I'm excited, but nothing happened. I just want to give y'all that.
Oh, I didn't hear that she had this music playing. I hope that don't get me demonetized. I'm gonna have to like edit that out. Okay, let's see now. Those were the only Black women that I can find that were saying they're moving back. Let's see what some of these other races of women are saying.
When my dad was visiting, I was talking to him about what would make me move back to the States.
I see on her account, she moved from the United States to the UK, and I noticed as I was trying to find these women that are moving back and unsuccessful, a lot of them are moving back from Europe. Like, if there's a common denominator, especially the United Kingdom. There's something about the United Kingdom where these women are like, I would rather be in the United States.
Not make me, like, he doesn't necessarily want me to move back to the States, but like, if I was considering that, like, what are the reasons? And I think my number one reason, which is the reason why I'm not moving back to the States right now, because this is not reason enough, but it's the fact, it's the fact that life here is so much harder. It is so much harder because everything is a thing. And I think my last video about the NHS kind of points to that, but like trying to do anything here is a thing. And I'm kind of like, I'm at my wit's end.
Well, that makes sense. Look, if you move to Latin America, especially if you move somewhere like Colombia, everything is a thing. Something that might take you 30 minutes, maybe an hour. Like, let's give it an hour max in the United States. Like, you have to pretty much block out your whole day to go handle business in Colombia. And even then, it might not all the way get handled that day. So you kind of have to start preparing your mind that things don't move as fast, and you have to kind of slow your life down if you want to be able to be successful, you know, or stay in that country. Like, you have to change, you have to adjust.
Things being things unnecessarily, if that makes sense. Everything's convoluted. All the processes just like don't make sense to me, and just like aren't logical, don't follow any logic. And so life in terms of like daily experience would be so much easier if I was at home. When my dad was visiting, I was talking to him about what.
Okay. So she's just saying just daily life is harder than you say. Everything is a thing. Let's see why. What is this? So this is a white woman. Let's see what she's saying.
It's just now sinking in that I'm moving again in 3 weeks. I'm moving back to the States. I just moved to Europe like 3 or 4 months ago, and my plan was to be here for like 1 to 2 years, traveling with my boyfriend. But as soon as I got here, I had this kind of like epiphany and moment of clarity that I haven't had in a long time. That was like, the path that you're on, car. The path that you're on isn't right. I got here and I just. Hello.
The path that you're on isn't right, ma'am. This sounds like she made an emotional move. That's another thing. People will pack up and move and not do their research, or they have an idea, like they idealize what life would be like there. And that's why I always say, go do an extended stay. Before you sell all your stuff and you just pack up and move, if you know, especially like me, somebody like me, I can do something like that because I do a lot of research and I'm very thorough. But at the same time, I'm highly adaptable. I'm a go with the flow, adapt, survivor type. I'm a Gemini, y'all, okay? Most people, they cannot adapt to certain situations. You understand? Most people, once it gets a little too uncomfortable or it's not exactly how they expected it to be, they give up. So if you already know you're emotional like that with decisions, I think it's better to just go try to do an extended stay. In my opinion, before, like, do a trial run. A lot of these countries have a path for you to do a trial run before you pack up and move. Thank you, Rico Young, for the $9.99 super chat. Black women that generally move overseas are educated. I've heard every Latino man say that. Every Latino man that I have met in these countries who has had interactions with African American women says that. Black men are usually not educated. Majority of passport bros are blue collar, limited educated, if any. And why they demean education overall. Yeah, I'll say that. And here's the thing. I have no problem with blue collar work. And I think blue collar work is very necessary. I do have a problem with ignorant people who behave ignorantly, right? So it's like a lot of the men in this space, they won't give credit where credit is due. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they're so busy putting down the education of women in America that they don't understand that a lot of these women can go other places and people will see the value in them having the education. Now, certainly there is a brand of woman, a particular brand of woman, educated woman who thinks she can talk down to people or be rude. And I've seen that type just because she's educated, but that is not the majority. And I would say that is not the majority of the Black women who are moving abroad. Most of the Black women that I see moving abroad, especially if they're single and they're young, they're that quirky type of Black girl that you really can't put into a box. Kind of like the girls I was showing you before. And I think that Black men in this space underestimate just how pleasant that is to other people and just how attractive it is that she's just educated and like she can speak on so many topics. And oh my gosh, she's picking up this language very fast because she's interested in learning and she can communicate with us. And, you know, like those type of girls will tend to go somewhere and really jump head first into whatever situation they have going.
I love van life. I got here and I was basically like, this isn't right. And there are a few reasons for that. So she wants to say hi. Hi, buddy.
Did she just kiss the dog in the mouth?
But yeah, first reason being that I've been traveling with my boyfriend for the last year, and I feel like I've lost a lot of independence in our relationship, which is really easy to do when you spend 24/7 together in a van. And so I really want to take back that independence. You know, I'm only 21.
That's what I was thinking. Girl, you just want to break up with your man. You tired of being up under your man. You want to break up with him, girl. I mean, that's what that sounds like. You move there, then you realize I'm going to be traveling with him and stuck by him. And now I want to break up. Okay. Girl.
And this doesn't mean my boyfriend and I are breaking up. We're still perfectly fine. We have a great relationship.
Okay, girl.
But I'm taking back a little bit of that independence and I'm going back to the States for a little bit. I bought a van back in the States that is not converted. So this is my third van that I'll be in what, a 2-year span. Crazy. But my plan is I'm flying back in 3 weeks and I'm picking up the van at my parents' house, driving it down to Joshua Tree, converting it in 6 weeks, doing some traveling in that. And then I'll be coming back here into like
She just want to get away from her man.
For July and August, I think.
It's literally she just want to get away from her man.
It's just one.
Okay. This is why I moved back to Mexico, back to the USA from Mexico.
So I recently moved from Mexico to the United States, born and raised California, but I moved to Mexico for the last 3 years. Initially, I just wanted to have a fresh chapter, start new, travel, have fun. I didn't like the United States in the past, and it took leaving to really appreciate it. So just a little glimpse on why I left, but why I'm coming back. So I gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. Here he is. Say hi.
Aww.
And it was never my intention to start a family or raise a family in Mexico, but life happened. I knew I wanted to give birth there. I was living there and I thought, you know, my son having dual citizenship would be a really cool opportunity for him in the future for whatever he wants to do. So I gave birth in Mexico and kind of quickly realized actually before birth in my pregnancy that I wanted to move back to the United States. It's not somewhere I ever would want to raise a child. There are beautiful parts of Mexico, truly, and I appreciate the culture and everyone welcoming me in, but there's a lot of exposure at a really young age in that culture. Not everywhere, but my experience, you know, drugs, alcohol from a really young age were pretty normalized in that, and poverty as well, kind of no matter where you are. So I knew that part I didn't want my son to be raised in. I also wanted to be closer to family because I was living all alone in Mexico, and the father's not involved.
She got a man.
It's just me. The father lives in Mexico and was never involved from the jump, from pregnancy at all.
Then girl, hold on, wait. What you mean the father was never involved from pregnancy? Ma'am, what happened? I need to hear the rest of the story. You had a baby. I'm trying not to judge, but girl, you had a baby by a man that wasn't involved from the jump? Okay.
So I knew that I wanted to be near family. You know, my
Try to explain that, girl. You can't just say stuff like that.
son deserves a bigger family, cousins and all that, and I also deserve that, and to have that joy shared with others. A big thing, I was totally fine being alone in the past without my son, but having my son, I realized, wow, I want to share this joy with people. And although I wouldn't say I have a huge friend group, very few friends at this point. Something they don't tell you about motherhood. The ones you do share it with, you want it to be really special and you want people to love your son. So that and business opportunities in the United States for me, clientele, brand partnerships, things like this, I can really grow in the United States. There is money here. There is so much potential for growth. Some people don't appreciate living in the United States, and I didn't either, which is why
So this really sounds like with not a lot, but a good amount of these women are like, hey, there's more money to be made in the United States. So hold on. They're like, there's more money to be made in the United States. This is where I'm going to have access to better opportunities. So it seems like a situation where they're like, I didn't realize what I had until I left, which is completely understandable, y'all. I said this before and I'll say it again. I became more pro-American when I left the United States because I started understanding why we do a lot of it. Our government does a lot of the shit that it does. I realized the only thing that's keeping the West together from falling into complete chaos over here in the Western Hemisphere is the United States. If the United States goes down, all the dominoes over here fall. They fall to criminality. They fall to trafficking. And some of y'all might not agree with that, but the only reason why we can safely live in a lot of these countries abroad is because the United States perpetually keeps its foot on these people's neck. It is what it is. And then, of course, you do have some countries where they're trying to do right. But like, if in order for us nomads to do what we do abroad, the United States has to continue to at least be functional. Thank you so much. I appreciate the $49.99 super chat. Hey, Mariah, you stated, see many of your type of men in DR. You currently in a relationship. In your opinion, are the quality of men better in DR than in the United States? Okay, I haven't dated enough men like on an individual level to like say they're better quality. I'll just say, okay, if you want to talk, I gotta be honest, fellas. Can I be honest? Can I be honest? Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again. There are a lot of handsome men in the United States, especially when you compare them to some countries, certain countries in Latin America. The United States has such variety that you can find anything that you're looking for, right? But what I will say is I have a certain, I got a type. And they everywhere here in the DR. In terms of like quality of the you know what? I'll say this. I don't think I've had, when I really sit back and think, I don't think I've had a boyfriend that has been as attentive as my boyfriend now. We were out yesterday eating a pizza at this like New York style pizza shop yesterday. And I started to kind of vent to him. I don't really talk to him about what I have going on YouTube because it's a bit much. And I don't like talking about work with him. But, you know, he asked me, oh, did you go live today? And I was like, no, I actually kind of like, I just wanted to kind of decompress because after I cuss people out, it just takes my energy. And like when I started talking, he literally like put his food down and turned and like made sure, like when I said I needed to decompress, made sure he listened to everything that I could see he was listening so that he can respond. And like to some people that might seem like that's not that big of a deal, but that's everything to me because I'm used to men telling me, oh, you fine, you look good. I'm used to men like, yeah, I'm used to men buying things and doing things for me. But it was like for somebody to like care enough to see you, and you don't even have to tell them. I've never talked to him about any of my relationship problems or not feeling in the past or not feeling seen. It's just something he did because that's just him. And I like really appreciate that. Or just him like hey, I don't want to even ask him, but he'll be like, hey, I just got home right now. I'm leaving. Did you, making sure I got home? That kind of stuff. Like, did you eat today? That kind of stuff. Very attentive. So I won't say men, I'll say, yeah, I'll say so far in my experience, this has been like by far the best dating experience I've had. He's been like the most affectionate person and like looking out for me. So yeah, I will say that. I'll say that. Okay, DR men are cheaters and beat up women. Men cheat in the United States. Cheaters are like, men cheat. If you don't want to date a certain group of men because you're like, oh, these men have a reputation for cheating, like, I don't know no country that you're gonna go to, maybe that where you're gonna, majority of the men cheat in every country you're gonna go to. And that's because the majority of people lack discipline. So if you be like, if you're always like, oh, I'm not gonna date because these men have a reputation for cheating, it's like, for example, Black men have a reputation for cheating in the United States. Should women not date y'all or give you a chance? Also, men of all races beat women. Men of all races. If we want to pull up the stats, let's pull up the stats. I'm gonna do that since you brought that up. You got to deal with people on an individual level and not be, yes, there's, in most cases, people are not going to be shit, right? But you got to deal with people, still got to learn to deal with people on an individual level. That's all I'm saying. The average Jamaican man makes $1,000 a year. The average Black man in America what does the average Dominican man in America make? Again, the cost of living here, I highly doubt the average Dominican makes $1,000 a year. You gotta, like, rent here is much higher than that, right? I'm gonna pull these stats up. Let's do it, because I don't like to just talk in opinions. First, I'm going to address the statement that was made about Dominican men being cheaters and woman beaters. So, can you break down domestic violence? I'm going to say convictions. Let's do convictions. In the United States by gender and race. Violence, convictions. Oh, like you said, committed against women. I got to make sure I'm thorough. Okay, so here is in order where we're talking about just the sheer number. We're not even talking about proportionality. Okay, I'm gonna pull it up. I put this in ChatGPT. Okay, so some of y'all don't like ChatGPT, but I like it because ChatGPT, when you're looking up these kind of stats, it will put the sources and it compiles, it synthesizes all the information. Okay, so I put this in ChatGPT. Hold on one moment. I'm gonna share it. Okay, so race breakdown. Race, arrest, and conviction. I put conviction, so it wasn't based on accusation. Numbers are heavily influenced by population size, reporting rates, socioeconomic factors, and policing practices, looking at arrest data rather than rates. Most domestic violence offenders are, so by race, white men are the largest number nationally. The second largest number are Black males. The third largest number are Hispanics. Dominicans would be included in that. And other races have smaller shares. So, lifetime prevalence of physical violence by an intimate partner reported by women. Okay, so these are what women are reporting. American Indian women, 51% of them report the DV. Multiracial women, I guess that would include women like myself, 51% of us report the DV. 41% of Black women report DV. 30% of white women report DV. And 29% of Hispanic women report DV. And then you have Pacific Islander, Asian, that's at 15%. Okay, so we can only go by what people are reporting. But if the claim is like, okay, Dominican men are the abusers, there are other races in the United States that have a far higher abuse rate than Dominican men or Hispanic men just in general. So we got to speak facts. We got to speak facts here. Let's even break down cheating by race in the United States. I want to do that. Can you break down cheating by race and gender in the United States? Okay. So this is the admitted infidelity rate. You gotta know, we know people be lying, they be capping. Men admit to cheating at a rate of 20%, and women admit to it at a rate of 13%. Admitted infidelity rate. Black men are at 22%, white men are at 16%, and Hispanic men are at 13%. So it looked like even the women, if we're talking about women, the women, Black women are at 8. So if we talking about race and gender, marital infidelity. So this is marital infidelity. 28% of Black married men have admitted to cheating. 18% of Black married women have admitted to cheating. 20% of white married men have admitted to cheating, while 13% of white married women admitted to cheating. 16% of Hispanic men admitted to cheating, while 10% of married Hispanic women admitted to cheating. So, as far as cheating goes, Black people in general, whether it's male or woman, and white people are outdoing Hispanics. Now, I'll ask the chat, which Latin American countries have the highest rates of infidelity? Let's see. Okay, so there are so many other. Can you include the Caribbean in this list? Okay, so let's see. Dominican Republic, there are other countries. Brazil ranks higher. Okay, 67% of self-reported infidelity rate. Colombia, 59% of self-reported infidelity rate. Mexico, 52% of self-reported infidelity rate. Argentina, 48% of infidelity rate. Chile, 45%. So what it says about Dominican Republic, often cited as relatively high, but no widely accepted national percentage. Okay. So Dominican Republic ranks 6th on the list. Can you also bring up domestic violence rates? I'm about to get off of this, but I'm just proving my point. I think the reason why Dominican men get the reputation that they get is because of the multiple families, but men used to do that back in the day. Like men would been doing that, the multiple families. And on top of that, when you got a culture full of a whole bunch of fine men, people are gonna nitpick at them. Like people care more if you cheat when you're fine. Like it just is what it is. And y'all know what it is, light-skinned people. Light-skinned men get the, oh, he acting, he doing that light skin, all light-skinned demons, then light-skinned men cheat. The fine men cheat. It is what it is. I'm not saying a lot of them ain't cheating. Okay, so looks like the Dominican Republic does have a high rate of domestic violence, but they are beat out by Brazil and Colombia. So they rank number 3. Can you compare domestic violence rates between American men and Dominican men? I'm interested. Okay, so in the United States, about 1 in 4 women, about 25% experience physical violence from an intimate partner in their lifetime. About 22% of women report severe physical violence by an intimate partner during their lifetime. Nearly 30% of women report intimate partner violence that resulted in significant impacts such as injury, fear, missed work, or medical care. Okay, as compared to Dominican Republic, about 9.6% of women aged 15 to 49 reported experiencing physical violence or SSA violence from a current or former intimate partner in the previous 12 months. Dominican Republic has one of the higher femicide rates in Latin America. That's bad. And the y'all know Caribbean men be crazy. Okay, so this is the discrepancy. The US figures are based on the lifetime. Dominican Republic figures are based on past year. So that could be even higher. So this is saying Dominican Republic has a higher rate of lethal violence. I could see that. Okay. I'm not color struck. I'm just saying light-skinned men do have a bad reputation. People focus on their cheating more than anybody else's cheating. Look at how they do. Well, I ain't gonna say him. Many veterans live abroad without higher education. Not everyone is a passport bro. It's about income and availability of being able to move abroad, like retirement or some other situation. Agree. Okay, true, but depends on where you live. 42K in California, or specifically San Fran, is living down bad. Would be just like living in DR struggling. Okay. Latin America is the capital of cheating. Not everybody cheats. When I was in Peru, I got a sense that they tend to be a pretty faithful society. And let me tell you, when I went to Peru, when the men were with their woman, they do not look at you. When you go to Colombia, them men, they don't give a damn. Their wife could be right next to them looking dead at them. Them Colombian men, if they see some ass, they finna stop and break their whole neck while the woman is right there. Here in the Dominican Republic, I noticed the men try not to look. If they do look, they do like this. It's a quick glance. They act like they scared of getting beat them themselves, you know? Like Dominican men, they will like do a little, but they not finna damn why they with they woman. Colombian men never gave a damn. Never gave a damn. Absolutely not. Never gave a damn. Okay, so let me get off of that. Okay, y'all be careful about certain things y'all are saying in the chat. Okay, I will drop the link, but I will drop the link later on. So now there were some other YouTubers that I wanted to react to. Okay. Now, this is a lady, her name is American Mom Global Citizen. And she was talking about the worst countries for Black women to date in. And I wanted to see what she had to say, if y'all are interested.
Increase my romantic to it. But first, I need a sip of my Turkish tea.
Okay, girl, where you at? You in Turkey?
Okay, I'm ready. Okay, so as y'all know, I have lived abroad now for going on 8 years. And one of my main motivations for moving abroad was to expand or increase my romantic options and potentiality because I am a marriage-minded Black woman. And so I've dated in a number of countries, and there are some things that I have found true.
So I think at this point, when she made the video, because it says that she's a mom, so she's a single baby mother, like myself, like y'all like to, call us. And so, yeah, this will be interesting. And she's lived in multiple countries or dated in multiple countries. Let's hear what she has to say.
Just to be, generally true. And just for the record, we will be generalizing here. Like, I'm definitely generalizing. This doesn't mean this is the rule everywhere. This doesn't mean that there are exceptions to the rules, but I think I kind of nailed it. Number 4 on my list is France. Okay, so France, I feel like, even though it is like this, especially like Paris, and I'm specifically talking about Paris, like, even though it's like, the city of love and lights and all this stuff, like, and it's known for the romance, I feel like the men there are just a lot more fickle, and it's really difficult to truly date seriously there.
That's what I've heard there about France. I have heard that the men, they will treat you like they like you, like they won't sleep with you and then mistreat you. But at the same time, they don't want to commit. I've heard not just her say that, I've heard white women say that about French men.
And then on top of that, they do have a culture of 50-50. The men are feminists. And when I say feminist, I don't want anybody to come for me in the comments like I mean it as a bad thing. I understand by definition what that means. But if you're more traditional minded and you're more marriage minded, you don't want to be going out with a man who's going to be talking about splitting like a cup of coffee with you. You know what I'm saying? And that goes to my next.
If I'm in a relationship with somebody, I don't mind paying for some dates every now and then. But like, how embarrassing is it that we're out to eat somewhere and you want to split coffee? Absolutely fuck not. Absolutely not. They're doing that, and for even Colombian man would never do that. Colombian man would never do that.
Point. Like, I find that a lot of the men there just want to do like things like coffee dates and things like that, which is, I guess what I've learned is from culture to culture that is acceptable. And in France, that is an acceptable first date, going out for a cup of coffee. But I'm like, dang, if we're going to go out for.
But that's where I stay. And, shout out, no disrespect to this beautiful woman. But that's why I said that these women you got to adjust your expectations when you go abroad, girl. Or here's the thing. If you're going to another country and you're expecting $200 dates, girl, you got to move to like Dubai or something like that. even just women expecting $200 dates every time they go out on a date in the United States, or these nice lavish dinners, that is unsustainable. Most men cannot sustain that. They just cannot. Nor is it a financially sound decision to make. So here's the thing. If a woman really likes you, or she really feeling you, she's gonna go get that coffee. And I understand American women's reservations, because they're like, a lot of these men are just using coffee dates because they want to like be able to smash, and they didn't have to come up off of no money. But it's like, that's where your discernment gotta come in, girl. That's where you gotta try to ask questions and get to know somebody. But that is an acceptable date, not just in France, but in most parts of the world. In Latin America, going and getting coffee is an acceptable date. Not just an acceptable first date, it's an acceptable any day. She's beautiful. Colombian women are not housewives. They're not. All of the women I know in Colombia have a job. No, she's beautiful. Let's not.
Cup of coffee, like, you're not going to pay for the coffee, like you're that darn cheap. And I just got a problem with that. I'm not going to lie. I really do have a problem with that.
She got her natural hair, like y'all been saying that the ladies need to have. She got her natural hair. It's long. She got nice skin, very well spoken. Now, y'all be shaming Black women when they acting Keisha and ghetto. But this woman is wearing her natural hair out, very well spoken, got herself put together. Let's not do that.
A man inviting,
and that's why I say nothing don't never be good enough for some of y'all.
You out, and for me, it really doesn't matter who the invitation's coming from, but usually it's coming from the man. So, you're gonna ask me out for a cup of coffee, and then we're just gonna split the cup of coffee. Is just like weird. But this
me personally, I'm gonna address this comment, and you know what, you might have a valid point already. So it sounds like American men get treated better overseas, and American women have to lower their standards. I think that's true for most American women. Me, I've always dated men based on chemistry, whether they were a good person. So if I really liked the man and I was feeling the man and he was like, let's go to the Waffle House or let's go get some coffee, like, I never had a problem. That wasn't my mindset before I left the United States, is what I'm trying to say. Like, that was not my mindset. I never had that mindset. I have had men spend a lot of money for me on dates, but most of the time it was because they were trying to manipulate the situation. So, for example, one time I went out with this dude and he was a drug dealer. And he took me out to this place in Dallas called Moxie's. It's a very, I want to say it's like the most upscale, but it's a nice restaurant. The food is not cheap, okay? And so he took me there, and then he was like, "Oh, let me pay to get your nails done." And like the whole time he wasn't seeing that I was uncomfortable, and I could tell he just had a spirit of lust, and he was trying to buy his way into my pants. So like after about a week and a half, I just cut it off, because then it was like, I already don't trust you. I definitely don't trust you enough to lay down with you. And I feel like you're constantly trying to buy me, So for me, it was like, I could already tell our values was not aligning. So it didn't matter. That man could have bought me a Birkin bag and I wouldn't have wanted him. You're in a totally different category. Stop comparing yourself to Keisha. She not Keisha. She very classy. Like, I want to get to know who you are. And here's the thing. A man that has good character, everybody might experience some financial ups and downs. But a man that has good character is not finna just sit up and be comfortable not working while you taking everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, a man that has good character gonna always find his way back up. And I think that's what women need to look for more than anything, because we're all humans. Hell, I have my own financial ups and downs too. So it's like a good man though that has good character and believes in the value of hard work and being a man, they gonna always find their way back up. That's good. A connection shouldn't be based on extravagance. It's about attraction, not transaction. Yeah, and then women gotta understand, men can't keep that. Man, I can't tell y'all how many, y'all know I used to work in a strip club. I can't tell you how many girls I knew that would start dating a dude, and at first he's whining and dining and spending all this, but come to find out, he was putting that shit on credit cards, or he was doing stuff he wasn't supposed to be doing, or you know what I'm saying? Like there was a certain situation that was going on in his life that allowed him to have extra money to spend at that time. But once they got well into the relationship, you know, these women started finding out their real financial situation. So men will front for as long as they can just to get you where you want them, they want you. And it's like when you take all of that extravagance off the table, then you're able to actually see the human being. That don't mean you let a man, you know, it don't got to be as extreme as, oh my gosh, we have to split a cup of coffee. No. But at the same time, you know, date at that man's budget. You know, like if you really want to find out what a man is about and not just be too materialistic, date at his budget.
Extends past coffee in their culture. So you're going to be expected to split almost everything all the time. And I just don't feel like the men are that serious there. Now, with all of that being said, do I know some Black women who have gotten married? Absolutely, I do. Especially those who are dating the Afro-European Frenchmen that live there, that are from the French-speaking Caribbean, like Haitians, those from Martinique, Guadeloupe, etc. Like they're all there. Even like French-speaking Africa. I find that those women who, you know, those Black women who date those men tend to get coupled up. But in general, I just find it like
I ain't gonna lie, them men from French Martinique are fine, and their culture different because they're Caribbean. They believe in, you know, paying the bills. But them French Martinique men, they look good. They look good. I ain't even gonna hold you.
Go if you are really like intentional, like, you know, I really want to get married, and I don't want to spend like, you know, forever trying to, you know, date and, you know, get a proposal. So let's go into the next one. Number 3 on my list of worst places for Black women to date is Spain. And I'm living in Spain, y'all. But you know what? I'm gonna be honest with y'all. When I decided to move to Spain,
will live in places where we would never even date the men there. That's really crazy when you think about it. But it's just we're not driven by that in the same way men are. Women won't think about that kind of stuff till like later on. A woman might be like, oh well, you know, I'm kind of lonely. I might want somebody to go out with on a Friday night, or in her case, she wants somebody to get married to now. She wasn't thinking about that when she moved to Spain.
I knew for a fact my relationship, my love life was going to take a L. And that's simply because I do not feel like Spanish men in general find Black women attractive or like Black women. Are there some who do? Yes. But I don't get that feeling from Spanish men the same way I feel when I'm in Italy, or I'm in Turkey, or I'm, you know, somewhere in the Balkans where these men are like, baby, I've been waiting for your beautiful Black self to come here my entire.
Okay, baby, I did not know them Balkan men like Black women. Y'all know who else like Black women? Irishmen. Irishmen love Black women.
Your life, and you're not leaving. We need to get married. We need to get booed up ASAP. Like, I don't get that vibe from Spanish men at all. And while I'm saying this, of course, again, yes, I do know some Black women who are partnered with Spanish men and they are happy, but I'm talking about like the general vibe. Also, in Spain, they do the whole 50-50 splitting bills. That's a normal part of the culture. Most of the men grow up seeing this emulated in their households where their parents are splitting bills. Everything is about, you know, that level of
What do y'all
equality
think,
in the
Chad?
society. So,
Chad, do y'all think that men and women should be splitting household bills? My perspective has changed on that. And let me tell you why it's changed on that. I don't plan on having any more children. I'm not going to have any more children. So to me, the whole point in a man taking care of all of the bills is because a woman is going to have the kids. And she's not going to be able to, especially when those kids are between the ages of 1 and 5, and, you know, even up to the age of 10, the woman is going to have to do a lot of labor. So to me, it doesn't make any sense for her to have to go to work and on top of that, split bills with a man and take care of the household and take care. It don't, you know, I do believe that if you're going to have a children with the woman, especially from the ages of 1 to 5, the man should be taking care of the bills. However, I feel like as you get older, for example, me, I'm not having any more children. I don't mind splitting bills with the man. The hard part is over. I don't mind doing that. I don't know what that sounds like to y'all. That might sound dumb, but I don't see a logical reason why the man should pay all of the bills and I don't pay anything. It has to make sense. Nor would I personally, even with like that dynamic, it rarely works in a woman's favor in the way that you think it should. Most of the women that I know that are with men who pay all the bills, and this is like every single bill, are with men who are emotionally unavailable and treat them like they are the help. I rarely see that work out. Rarely. Spanish men in Spain, or Latinos in general, I think she's talking about the men in Spain, just the Spanish men in Spain. I agree. I'm old fashioned like that. I prefer my wife not to work if she don't want to. Okay, Harold. A lot of women don't want to be housewives. I mean, I be in the house all the time, so technically I'm a housewife. Well, I'm not a wife. But like if I got married, because here's the thing. I work in the house, but I work and I don't mind. It's not that I don't want to cook or I don't want to clean or nothing like that is why I'm saying I want to go 50-50 on bills. But at the same time, I also want to be a financial contributor. It doesn't necessarily mean I got to pay. We don't even got to go 50-50. But I at least want to be paying like at the bare minimum 30%. Like I got to have some skin in the game for me to feel comfortable. Is your Spanish teaching in a class setting Zoom? I'm into kite surfing and will be investing in Cabarete VR. Listen, no, it's already a Zoom. It's not, you can do it online. They're all private lessons. And I have packages and an immersion program. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm getting ready I only have room on my schedule, like to just consider, because I'm very flexible with my students. And my roster, like I'm only gonna take like 4 more students because again, I'm very flexible and my students need to change times around and I work around their schedule. And, we work, so it is what it is. But, if you're interested, you can go to my website. I do have availability open and everything. So I'll be looking out for you. Hey, Darnell. Hey, Mariah. This topic is, and I'm sorry. Thank you I didn't know if I told you this at first, but thank you so much for the super chat. this topic is very broad. Every relationship is based on purpose. So it's case by case. Yeah, I agree. That's why people have to do what works for them. In today's economy, especially, I wonder how many men in the US can single-handedly support an entire household. I make 6 figures and I can't imagine being able to afford one kid still. You know what? I think because it sounds good, a lot of men want that, Jose. And then it's like I've heard women talk about this, about how like they might have had a dad that pays all the bills, but over time, the man becomes resentful towards the woman because he's been carrying all the financial burden. And it's like, that's fine in times of when the economy is great, but you got to think about it like, what about now when the United States has been in a recession for a while? They just ain't called it. It's like, I know that those men who are holding down the household right now and things are very tight, y'all don't think a lot of them are looking at their wives or their women with resentment, especially the ones who haven't even offered to go. And she don't got no small kids. She just, around the house that haven't even offered to go try to bring in some additional money to help with the household bill. They probably looking like, bro, I do all, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can only imagine.
Going on dates and paying. And like, I have one friend, she's Spanish, and she's very much like that. Like, I was just like, girl, we're not the same in this area. She's like, I pay my part and I don't mind paying for my date. And I was like, well, girl, you go. Okay. I'm like, you go ahead then, girl, you do that. And she feels really uncomfortable when a man wants to pay for everything. She does not like that. So I just feel like truly, like, it's just not that place, because you want to be in an environment where you truly feel desirable. And I feel like also here that the men don't approach women. So men don't really approach women like that. In this culture, it's the women who initiate contact, conversation with a man. And so I don't know. I think for me that I am more traditional, and for me that I am a woman that's shy. So if you're like me, like, you would never just walk up to a man and just like, oh, hey, hola, ¿qué tal? Like, oh my God. Like, I'm just too shy of a woman. Like, I prefer for a man to come and make contact with me. And I am flirtatious, don't get me wrong. Like, I'll flirt when a man, if there's that good energy and things like that. I'm not prudish, but at the same time, I would never really just start approaching a man. And so it feels really uncomfortable and unnatural for me to do that. Mm-hmm. So I just feel like it's a no-go for marriage-minded Black women.
I'm going to say this. Y'all can disagree with me, or y'all can say this is like masculine behavior. Thank you, Julian. Much respect, Mariah. Thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. I think a lot of women don't understand men. And they don't understand that the majority of men, it's not that it's the way a man approaches you in the wild, right? So for example, like I talked to y'all about a lot of these Dominican men that be approaching me when I go outside. I already can tell that most of these men are cheaters that got a woman at home and they just hollering at anything that look fine to them, right? So there's that. Then there's a man who might sit back and watch you and he'd be like, hey, how are you? Or, are you single? He might talk to you, start a conversation, but he's not acting thirsty, but he's like, hey, I would like to get to know you. Are you single? Like, they're coming at you correct. Okay, cool. You can date that kind of man. You can date that kind of man, right? Me personally, y'all might agree or disagree with me. I don't like men that approach me. And this is why. I have noticed that men who, and here's the thing, there's a difference between a man who want to approach you because he like, yeah, I ain't trying to give her no attention, versus the man, he just kind of sitting back, he watching, like he giving choosing signals, but at the same time, he not really trying to press you. Those type of men, are far less likely to cheat. Far less likely to cheat. I'm gonna tell you how I got with my boyfriend. No lie. I was walking down, we was here in Dominican Republic. I was walking with my homegirl down Avenida España, and he was like just staring at me, but not in a sexual way. It was like, you could tell when a man's like, oh, she's very beautiful. So I looked at him, and my homegirl was like, that's your type right there. And I was like, yeah. She was like, girl, you should go say hey. I was like, I didn't really come here to date. And I looked back, he was still looking. So I said, hey, you know, how are you? He was like, I'm good. Woo, what you doing here? And, you know, he was like, oh, I'm just here. I'm just here drinking. It's the holiday, having a good time. I was like, okay. So then I get straight to business because I ain't trying to talk to nobody in a relationship. So I said, do you have a girlfriend? He was like, yeah, you. I said, what? He said, yeah, you my girlfriend now. And he meant it, like he was serious. Like, and it's been that since then, you know. But what I'm saying is he didn't come at me all thirsty. Does that make sense? I like that better. Like, I like that.
And like it's just not there. Like I walk outside, and I'm not saying this because I don't want nobody to say, oh, you just think you all that and you just want attention. It's not that. It's just like you notice things. When I go outside, I don't really see the same level of attention from Spanish men. You might get like a few looks, you know. And I mean, granted, I'm older. I know I'm older, but you know, I think mama still got it. You know what I'm saying? I think mama still got it, even though I'm older. So I don't know. Like, I just feel like,
how old is she?
Yeah, it's a no-go. So let's get to the next country. So the next country is not really a country. It is a continent.
Okay.
And I'm going to say Latin America in general. Latin America in general. And the reason why I say Latin America in general is because of anti-Blackness. Really, the anti-Blackness and the, you know, and also, yeah, the anti-Blackness is a huge part of it. Like,
the reason why I'm side-eyeing her is because, like, for example, if you go to Medellin, a lot of those Afro-Latina women, they have husbands that are like blanquito or mestizo. I have a brown-skinned friend who's Trinidadian and Venezuelan, but she brown, she darker than me, but she got some pretty eyes, but she not dark skin, she like brown skin. She got a Colombian boyfriend, and like, I'm like, girl, I don't know, girl. Even when I go outside in Latin America, they be like, que morena, que negra. Like, that's how they be talking. Like, they be excited. Like, they be happy to see me coming. And I know we're different skin colors, but I'm just saying, I see a lot of women her complexion, and especially in places like Colombia, that are able to get and attract men.
For years, for actually I want to say like the first half of my adult life was nothing but Latinos. And so I learned a lot about Latin culture in general. Now, my ex-husband has since passed away, but being married to him, I was in close contact with a lot more Latinos. Also living in Miami for 6 years.
Puerto Ricans love Black women. Puerto Rican men, baby. If anybody gonna have him a Black woman, it's gonna be a Puerto Rican man. I'm wondering if she's referring to some of the, I don't know if she's talking about attraction so much as some of the things that happen in the culture. For example, if you go to Colombia, the Black people are at the bottom of the economic spectrum. So I wonder if that's what she's talking about, and that's what's influencing her saying it's one of the worst places to date. Because like, there are no shortage of Hispanic men that are attracted to Black women. Like that's I've never seen that in my life. I don't even think that it's just that she's out of her prime. I think she just might have some unrealistic expectations for the places that she's dating. Like, y'all gotta understand, there are a lot of men. Hell, y'all, I have personally met men my age who tell me they prefer prefer older women. And I don't even know if she would be considered an older woman. Maybe she's like in her 40s. And they tell me that it's better. It's better, if you know what I mean by it. They say it's better. They actually prefer it. Like there are men out there like that. I don't think it's her age at all. I think if you're the type of man that prefers younger women, then yeah, to you, you're going to be like, oh yeah, it's her age. I don't really think that's the problem. I think she has unrealistic expectations. Thank you so much. She's the perfect example of the market rejecting her because of her looks, but mistaking it as anti-Blackness. You think so? Hold on. You think so? I think if she was willing to adjust some of her expectations, she would do better. Honestly and truly. I do. I think if she was to adjust her expectations, she could do better. Because if you hear the stuff that she's complaining about, it don't really make sense for the places that she's going.
With a lot of Latinos. And so dating them, living in very close proximity to them, understanding Spanish, speaking Spanish, and hearing the stuff that they say, and the things that are the anti-Blackness that is normalized in our culture. Like for me, I'm at the point I would never even consider them anymore, because they have this subconscious, unless they're one of those Latinos that really love Black women. And you do have those Latinos that are just like, oh my God, I love Black women. Like that is my preference. I love them, and I love them.
Why does it have to be that way?
You got those. They are in the minority.
This is what I don't understand. I'm gonna say this, and this is a criticism that I'm gonna give to African American women, and I love y'all to death, but I'm gonna be honest. A lot of y'all feel like when y'all date outside your race, it's not good enough for the man to just like you. He has to also prefer you above all other races of women, including his own. And if he's a healthy man, that's not realistic. Why can't he just like you? Why does it have to be, I love all Black women? Why can't he just like you because he thought you were a good human being? I never date any race of man outside of my own and expect him to prefer Black women or biracial African American women over his own group of women. I do expect that you like me and prefer me, the individual, above all women if we're going to be in a relationship. But in terms of him generally just, I don't even like that when a man be like, I just love me some Black women. Because that's when I start feeling like a fetish. I'd rather have an even playing field. Does that make sense? Because then I know you chose me based off of character and who I am to you. I don't need a man to just be all over Black women like that. It's not her look. She spent most of her life on a frequency that is off sync with the places she's visiting. Facts. She's not. Here's the thing, girl, you should have went back to Italy. Go back to Italy. If you want to be around men that just love you for being a Black woman, if that's your speed, sis, you got to go back to Italy. You got to go back to the Balkans. You already named those places. But here's the thing, those men here's what I'm saying, people be unrealistic. Those men don't make enough money for you. So what's your next thing you say you want to do? Go back to the United States. Girl, the United States is not an easy dating market. And the reason why it's not an easy dating market, because most people in the United States you want to get married. That's her thing. It's not like she just want to go find a boyfriend. She ready to go get married. She want a traditional man. First of all, we've moved whatever idea of traditionalism that you think exists in the United States. It no longer exists, sir. Not sir, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to disrespect her. But the economic situation is not allowing for that. Furthermore, girl, people in the United States don't believe in marriage nor do they value marriage like that anymore. So it's like you finna go from bad to worse. And I'm not saying that to bash American men in particular. I'm talking about just American values in general. People tend to be a lot more uncommittal. People tend to, they say they want emotional connection, but then when people try to connect with them, they don't want to connect. Something is really going on with the American psyche, just in general. It's not a male or a female thing. So if you're already saying you were in a place where the men liked you and showed you attention and adoration, I suggest you go back there, ma'am, if you want to find a husband, but then you have to adjust your expectations. You're going to have to be okay with the coffee date, ma'am. At least in Italy, they might take you on a coffee date and pay for the whole bill. And so like, oh, when I try to talk to women that think like this, they're saying, oh, you're asking me to lower my standards. No, you need to be realistic. It's not about lowering standards. If you meet a man who is taking you on coffee dates or y'all are going for free walks on the beaches, but at the same time, he's responsible. He knows how to pay, at least handle his bills on time. Y'all could come together. You know, you don't want to have, you probably not going, are you going to have any more kids at this age? It's like y'all could come together and really have a good time. She seems like she's financially sustaining. Why do you need a provider? I don't get it. I might sound like the crazy one to y'all. Is she dating her age or trying to get her groove back with foreign wines? Well, she didn't say that. Most foreign men are dating to start a family, so naturally they will prefer younger. Baby, that's why I date men. You gotta come with your kid. You gotta already have had your kids. I ain't having nobody kids yet. I'm 33. I have my child at 23. I'm not starting over. If you don't, but here I'm realistic. Do y'all understand? You have to have already had at least one kid if you want to date me. Because I'm not having no more. You have to have got that out of your system, and you don't want to have no more if you want to date me. I don't even want to date a man. At this age, knowing I don't want to have any more kids, I would never date a single man who says he doesn't want to have kids. Because what I don't want is for you to change your mind because you feel like you missed out when we get about 40. And then now we got to break up because you want to go have kids. No, come with the kids. I need you to have experience the responsibility of having kids. But guess what? I'm realistic. I have a kid. There are a lot of single women or baby mothers. She'd be like, I don't date baby daddies. Well, that shit don't make sense. A black woman, high earner, traveling abroad, seeking an equally yoked economic partner spouse is really going to be very disappointed. This is what black women should do. A lot are not going to be willing to do this. I love y'all, but y'all not. If you are genuinely interested in finding a man abroad, you can still make your money, girl, but y'all are going to have to live at his expense level. Or you're going to have to live at a level where you're matching what he's bringing in. Because I understand a woman not wanting to be in a situation where she's the provider woman. Well, now you need to adjust your expectations, sis. Maybe y'all can't live in that high-rise penthouse apartment. You are going to have to live at that man's means or just match. Spit, whatever he's making and put it into the house, you match that. That's how you stop from becoming the provider woman. But what it is people they get used to living all this luxury, that. They doing shit for the gram. They doing stuff for the pictures. They doing stuff for bragging. They rather that than actually find somebody that really cares about them, that they can make something work with. And that's just the reality. Is that something y'all would be interested in? Mariah, do you plan to do Passport Bros consultation and give an American man game on how to move overseas, dating overseas? Hell, I would be better than these men because I'm a woman and I used to work in a strip club. I know women, I know men like the back of my hand. Is that something that y'all would like me to do? But here's the thing, if I do it, I'm going to be brutally honest. It'll be in private. I'm never going to blast you or put your business out there. But I'm going to tell you exactly what the problem is if you come to me. So that's what I'm saying. I don't believe it or not, I really think you can help these men out. They need game. I probably can. But I'll be honest, I would never try to intentionally hurt anybody's feelings. But if you had things you gotta work on or some ways about you, I'm gonna tell the truth. And be brutally honest, like Kevin Samuels did. I wouldn't do it online, no. I wouldn't do it online. It would all be private. I wouldn't do it online or put it
that you have them there. But unless they're like that minority group of Latinos, for me, it's a hard pass because you are always on some level going to have to deal with some kind of anti-Blackness comments, and almost like he's doing you a favor for dating your Black behind. You know, like it's like that.
But you know what? I could kind of see what she was saying because I don't know if y'all know who Amara La Negra is, but I think she's either Dominican or Puerto Rican, and she was on Love and Hip Hop, and I didn't watch that season, but I remember seeing clips. She was dating this Dominican man named Alan, and Alan had a whole nother family in DR. He was one of those type of Dominican men, like very manipulative. And like every time he would get upset with Amara La Negra, even though he chose to have kids with her, lay down with her, start a whole second family with her, he would get upset. Oh, I told your Black ass. This is how he would talk to her. And I'm like, but Alan, you was all like, Alan, sir, stop it. She would stop. You know, and it's like, why would you say that to a woman that you laid down and had kids with, had a relationship with, and Alan would really act like he cared about Amara? You know what I'm saying? Like, they had this whole love triangle going, right? Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for the $99.99 super chat. Okay, here's the truth. Black women are low-key jealous that their men can travel overseas and obtain exactly what they want, but can't do the same. She's the perfect example. I don't think it's jealousy though. I think she could, if she would be realistic, she could have found a man by now. She not being realistic. What she wants is not in alignment with the realities of life. Even she said, and it's like, girl, you was in the Balkans, you was in Italy. She don't want to date them men because she feel like they ain't got enough money for her. Y'all know the Balkans is not rich. They don't have enough money to provide whatever lifestyle she thinks an American man is going to be willing to give her. And she don't understand. Even American women are having a hard time finding men that are providing that lifestyle right now. Everybody's struggling. So she's choosing traditionalism over genuine connection and compatibility. And that is her problem. I have seen women who are much younger than her, who fit a traditional beauty standard, who complain about the same shit she complained about. Same thing. They having the same problem. It's a 25-year-old or a 30-year-old somewhere complaining about the same thing she's complaining about and having the exact same problems finding a man. We still on Earth. What's up? I agree with the consultations. Just market your consultations. Start 100 per hour. Give guys tips on datings, lifestyles, traveling. Some of these men need help. They got doo-doo stains in their dress. No, not that. You know what? I'm going to add that as a service tomorrow on my website. I will add it as a service. And y'all can come on there and tell you it will be completely confidential. Because y'all know y'all can't trust these men in this space. It will be completely confidential. You can come show me what you got. If you got a woman that you're dealing with and you want to talk about the situation, I'll do that. I'll do that. I got y'all. I will add it as a service. And I'll do it like at $100 an hour. LOL, Oprah is cute to somebody, but how she moves, her intimacy, her passion, her temperament is probably unappealing for anything sustainable. She probably can't even get passionate because she's too worried about the financial aspect of it. Where do you think dark-skinned Black men can clean up in the dating market? Africa is going to be, Austin Hoffman been trying to tell y'all Africa y'all best bet. He's been telling y'all that. And it's very beautiful women. When I say clean up and get women, not just that, get women who are genuinely like attracted to you and like genuine relationships. I'm not saying in other countries they're not attracted to Black men, but like this woman is not incorrect in that a lot of these cultures do have some heavily rooted anti-Blackness already, right? And then on top of that, it's forget the anti-Blackness. If you're looking for a genuine connection, do y'all really want to be dating in like, I feel like if y'all are looking for traditional, like the traditionalism that y'all talking about, where it might be fake in other places, you can genuinely find that in Africa. Now, with that said, there are plenty of women in Latin America, but you got to go to a country where they have a heavy Black population. I met plenty of women, my skin complexion or lighter, in Latin America that say they love Black men. So that's going to be your second best bet. That's like your next best thing. Africa gives you beautiful Black women with naturally curvy body, and they are feminine and submissive. That is true. An African woman will convince you to stay with your man through whatever.
That vibe. And honestly, I ain't got time for that. Not at this big age. I really don't. And so, like I said, once again, I do know Black women who are married to Latinos and they are happy, but would I personally go there as a marriage-minded Black woman? No. And I know right now a lot of Black women in Mexico in particular, and in a couple other Latin countries who have confided in me and just said, honestly, like, I don't think I'm going to find my partner here. It's hard to date. The men won't really date you. I feel like they don't really like Black women like that. Or this is the other thing. They're too short.
When I used to work in the club, there was this girl. She was like a Black Barbie. But when I say Black Barbie, not in the way you think. Like, she had all the things a Black man would love. Big old tiggo bitties, snatched waist, big booty, naturally pretty, just everything pretty on her. Nice hair and very classy. But she was married to a Mexican man. And she told me that, and they lived in Mexico, and she would just come and work, on the weekends or whatnot. They lived in Mexico. And she told me that her biggest problem there was the women. Like the women, first of all, she looked better than all of them. And she was like, these women be built like a refrigerator and mad at my husband because he married me. So they were always talking shit to her husband for marrying a dark-skinned woman. But I'm not just saying this to give her any type of like sympathy. This is like perhaps the most beautiful woman I ever saw. That sister was bad. Think Keisha from Belly, but times 10 bad. That's who she was. She was that kind of fine.
A lot of Latinos are men, a lot of Latin men are short. unfortunately. So if you like them tall, baby, Latin America ain't it, okay?
Right, that's what I'm trying to say. This is the whole crux of the matter. If she was going to these Latin American countries and the men fit her aesthetic, she would be willing to overlook some of these anti-Black things that she says is going on in their culture, and just date somebody that's rocking her for her. She already don't like the aesthetic of these men, and it's just the whole anti-Blackness is just like that's what she wants to say, but in reality, she just don't like the men. Because if she liked them, she could go find somebody. She don't want them.
Or also the money thing, like a lot of them make far less money. And so if you are, a highly educated American woman going to Latin America and dating local men might not be the move that you want, especially if you want to be hypergamous, or you at least want to meet someone that's right at your level, or maybe slightly below, slightly above, but in your general.
That's your problem, girl. This is what you have to understand. Everybody that goes and dates, like whether you be a man or a woman, if you are going to move to a country where the cost is lower, and that was where you chose to go. You chose to go there because you could stretch your American dollar. You are going to have to understand that whoever you're going to date is not going to make as much money. Very rarely. And then will you even like them if you meet them? So all of us Americans that go abroad, whether you be a man or a woman, you need to make financial adjustments. And it doesn't have to be that you're paying all the bills, girl. It don't gotta be that. Now the men will go abroad and pay all the bills. Most of these Latinos men, when you meet them, they don't want you to pay all the bills. They don't want you to pay all the bills. But you're gonna have to, if you really want a genuine connection, you're gonna have to meet them at their income level. Dudes were disagreeing with your colorist talking points the other day because a 10 dark-skinned girl is better than a 10 light-skinned. I mean, I'm not saying which one is better. To me, a 10 is a 10. A beautiful woman is a beautiful woman. I just said I've seen a 10 dark-skinned girl get overlooked by a 7 or a 6 light-skinned girl every time. And that's just the reality. I saw it all the time. If you're working in Dubai, Qatar, you're not going to just be moving in and out of there at your leisure. That's not a 40-hour work week. We have a messed up mindset in the States. We do. People want to move. Let me tell you what people want to do when they move abroad. Now, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite because I do have my pictures. I got my little fly pictures on Instagram. But for the most part, my whole focus on my platform on Instagram, and even what I try to give to y'all over here, is I try to provide y'all a realistic look into what the day-to-day looks like. I've never been in the business of trying to sell luxury lifestyle. No, never been in the business of that, right? So the problem, especially that I see with a lot of these American women, they want to sell luxury lifestyle, and they're doing a lot of what they do to impress other women. You're not going to impress other women unless you have, like, women love to stun on other women and be like, my man paid for this, my man took me to go do this, my man took me to this and that. And when you're in a relationship with a man and you can't necessarily do that, then these women are not comfortable with that kind of situation. Now, honestly and truly, who am I to tell her that she can't find a man that she's looking for? But you're making it very difficult on your. Really doesn't have to be this way, girl. She got things going for her.
Area. Like, it's just hard. I mean, that's just the honest truth. So, if you feel like you don't have a lot of like time to waste, then girl, bypass Latin America. Unless you just want the experience of living there or whatever. Like, I personally wouldn't even waste my time. And like I said, that anti-Blackness piece is so heavy because I can honestly say that the Latino community is the community that traumatized me the most.
I could see that.
Black and making me feel bad about being a Black woman. Like, never in my life. So traumatized.
Latinos, as racist as y'all think white people are, white folks ain't got nothing on some of these Latinos when it comes to being Black. But the crazy thing is, they will still sleep with you and marry you. They will. And have kids and everything.
So much healing work after dealing with their community. And when I say that, I mean living in close proximity to them, working for them, getting hired by them. Like, I just would never do it again, to be quite frank. And I had to unpack a lot of things so that I would not harbor those feelings every time I see a Latino, because I don't want to be that kind of person. I truly want to be the kind of person that judges people based on the content of their individual character and not their nationality, the color of their skin, or where they come from. So I had to unpack a lot of that before I could start socializing again. And I'm being honest with you. And it's not because I was like that. It's because of the things that I experienced and the things that were done to me that I was like, these people are on something way different. Let's move on to the next country. Okay, so number 2, I think we're at number 2. Number 2 is the UAE. Number 2 is the UAE. Now, I will be honest with you. I hope I looked in the right place. Yeah, number 2 is the UAE.
Okay, girl, tell us why.
I'll be honest with you.
I know why.
Arab men are fine. They are fine. They some fine men. I'm not going to lie. They are fine, especially when they are in their traditional garments. I do find that quite attractive. Like, in reality, I would easily date a man from like Saudi Arabia or anywhere in that region because I find them extremely attractive. And I think on many levels, they too find us attractive.
However, a lot of Arab men do like Black women.
However, they ain't going to marry a Black woman. It's rare.
They're not rare. But it don't really have nothing to do with being Black, girl. It has everything to do with culture and tradition. So, for example, in Dallas, it's a lot of Arab men that have like Black women that are side chicks or Black women that they put up and pay their bills. But their family has certain expectations of who they're going to marry, girl. A lot of times, these men be already what is that called? Betrothed to a friend of the family. And their marriages are marriages for business or to make connections. So some of these men be engaged to their cousins and stuff like that, girl. So it was never going to be you. It's not necessarily a Black thing. It has nothing to do with attraction. It's just, girl, they just got a different way of doing things over there. That's it. What up, Corny Hub? Good to see you.
Unknown or little known fact about me, I practiced Islam for like 5 years.
Okay.
And so being in
girl, it sounds like you need to go be a sister wife. Now you want a provider man, girl. That's the easiest way. Go find you a man that already got him a couple wives, but got some money, and he gonna take care of all of them.
And you understand how their cultures work. They are very insular. They would rather that marry one of their cousins than to marry an outsider at all, let alone a Black woman. I have seen it, like, the couples that I have seen in terms of like, I guess Arabs or whatever, really would be North Africans, would be Moroccans will marry Black women.
But the average like Arab, like that's actually from like the Middle East, North Africans in general, Egyptians will marry Black women, Moroccans, you know, them Africans, Arabs will marry Black women. Their culture is a little bit different though. So an Arab man will date you whole time knowing he gonna have to eventually break up with you and marry his cousin. Arabic woman told me she couldn't marry me in college, but she was with me because she wanted a Black man for fun. But when it was time to get serious, she married an Arabic guy. It's out of obligation. These are the type of unattractive women that talk crazy, but get hyped by other women feeding into her delusion. If more women were honest with each other, it would solve a lot of issues. But Romeo, what do you want us to say to her? To me, okay. And I understand I'm not a man. Y'all are the men. And I can't, I'm not trying to influence what you think is attractive. I personally think she's a beautiful woman, and I've seen plenty of women that look just like her who are married. I believe she would be best going to a place where the men liked her, which was Italy and the Balkans. She don't want to do that because they don't make enough money for her. In Paris, France, you will see a lot of Moroccan women with West African men.
I've seen that many times. And actually, y'all, I got asked to be a second wife to this Moroccan man.
Well,
He's still my friend. I told him, honey, I ain't trying to be no second wife. Even though once in a while I regret it because he had money and I know he would have been taking care of me. And I'm like, dang,
okay,
you know,
girl, go on back there.
That offer might not.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Money is the most, but girl, you gotta choose. This is the problem. And I understand why men say a lot of y'all are delusional. Either you are gonna have money and a luxury lifestyle, or you are going to have love. And having love don't necessarily mean you gonna get with a man that can't do shit. He just not gonna offer that luxury. You gotta pick a side, girl. You can't have both. You can't have both. I'm gonna repeat it again. You can't have both. You want everything to come cookie cutter clean the way you want it to look. And you got to understand, especially as you get older, you have to make allowances and exceptions for certain things. Not because getting old means that you're devalued, but because getting older means people are coming with some things. We've lived some life. What you needed, what made sense at 20 don't necessarily make sense at 40, baby girl.
I don't want to be a second wife. So anyways, he and I are still really good friends. He's there in Florida. Anyways, Moroccans will. Outside of that though, baby, I would not ever want to put up with the level of drama that any Black woman would have to go through with their family if an Arab man chose to marry her and that was not the family's first choice. You will be going through hell, period.
Baby,
at this age, I don't have time to go through that level of hell. I went through a certain level of hell just with my ex-husband's Puerto Rican family because they had all of these misconceptions about.
I wouldn't, because they would learn very quickly not to play with me. You think you finna put me through hell, meanwhile you find out the whole time I was the hell. But you know what? Mothers love me. I've never had a boyfriend whose mother didn't absolutely adore me.
Black women, like, oh, Black women are lazy and Black women don't like to cook. And I'm like, y'all don't even hardly know no Black people. Like, what is you talking about? Like, you don't even really know any Black people to even say any of these things. And then when she came, and this is like a side note, and then when she came to live with us, that's when she saw what kind of woman I was. And she's just like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, Candace is so nice. I love her. And after that, she started
Black women don't like to cook or Black people don't cook. Is it just a Southern thing? Like, we cook. What? That's so crazy that we have that reputation that we don't like to cook. Is that a Northern Black person thing? Can y'all explain?
Towards me. Before that, it was like, she was treating me really weird. And it was because of that. But anyways, like I said, I feel like Arab families, especially if you're Black and you're not their first choice, you are going to go through a certain level of hell because they are very close-knit. They have their ways in terms of like keeping the family together and passing on the family line and all of these things. They want it to be within their culture, really and truly. And that's one reason why they marry a lot of their cousins, truly. I'm trying to think what else I have to say in regards to marrying Arabs. Now, I feel like this is what I have heard on the ground in the UAE, and I have experienced a little bit myself. Now, an Arab man might keep you as a concubine, and if you're okay with that, or I mean, obviously, if you're marriage minded, you're not going to be okay with that. But if you're the type of woman you're looking at this video and you're okay with that, that could possibly work because then they will have their wife that they married to please their family, and then they have you as their actual personal choice. And a lot of times you can make an arrangement to be kept, a kept concubine. And I have seen that a few times, and I know a few women who have that type of arrangement, and they're quite okay with that. But in general, I feel like in the UAE, that area, the Arab world, that's just not going to be great for a marriage-minded Black woman. Now, you might, in the UAE, you might be able to, you might be able to marry some of like the Africans that are there or other nationalities that are there. And I do know Black women who have gone to the UAE, been very strategic about their social circles, and now they're married. In fact, I know 3 that off the top of my head. So if you go there, just know that the Arab men are not the men that...
Girl, just go get you a Nigerian scammer. There, problem solved. They want to get married. What she say? They be getting to the money. They be tall. She said she didn't like short men. They Black, so you don't got to worry about anti-Blackness. Go get you a Nigerian scammer. I don't know. A lot of Black women be eating out 4 to 5. Damn, they got money a week these days. I can't eat out all them times a week because, baby, I be trying to watch my health and what I put in my food. Again, her being unattractive has nothing to do with her melanated skin. Now, I just want to continue to reiterate, I think she's a beautiful woman. You talking about she delusional, she old, she'd be lucky to be a third wife. I don't necessarily, look, let me tell y'all. My ex-boyfriend's mom, if I pulled a picture up of her, I need to hold on, y'all. I had something in my eye. If I pulled a picture up of this woman, she's almost 70 years old. Bad. No waist, big booty, big tit, keep herself up, fly. Be going out in her heels and boots. And when did she meet her husband? She was almost 60 when she met her husband, and he was 5 years younger than her. And he had got out of divorce, and he had 2 kids from a previous marriage. And he loved her to death. Love her to death. He pays the rent. She pays all the other little smaller bills. And to this day, that woman can pull men. I promise you, she fine. Almost 70 years old. She look good. So I don't really necessarily think that age, especially if it's a situation where I only think age should really matter to a man if you plan on still having kids. Like after a while, when y'all get to a certain age and don't nobody want to have no more kids, that shit don't matter no more, is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Then it just matters more so, did you take care of yourself? Do you still have a zest for life? But there's a lot of men that after they done had their kids, they don't give a damn about, they're not checking for no 20-year-olds and no, you know, that ain't where their mind is at. You're right. I'm not doing the picking, but I'm telling you, there are men that are doing the picking, and they are picking women their age and older. Why? The same way I say that the women be being unrealistic, some of y'all men be being unrealistic. If you don't want to have any more kids, or you don't want to I'll say this. If you're at a certain age, after a certain age, if you don't want to have any more kids, why the hell are you dating girls that are 20 and 30 years younger than you? That don't make no sense. If you done had your kids or you don't want to have any more kids, you're married, you done got a divorce, and you had kids out of that situation, why are you looking for somebody 20 or 30 years younger than you when you could literally, it's a non-factor. You could go find a woman you could date your age or old. That's not a factor. You could just go find a person that's cool, that rock with you for you. Okay, so here's the thing. You don't need a justification like what you like. But when the women sit up here and be liking irrational shit, y'all be calling them delusional. It's the same level of delusion. Because let's be clear, most of these young girls, I'm tempted to say, don't want y'all for nothing but y'all money anyway. It ain't because you got better with time. It's because that money started stacking with time, or so she think. I'm just keeping it real. I worked with these young girls dating these older dudes, and guess what? I was telling them back then when we were young, you're not gonna want that man in 10 years. You're not gonna want that man when you get over 30. Now they all calling me, complaining. They done got married. He 20, 30 years older than her. She done sat down and had babies for him. Now she like, bro, he took my youth. I told you was gonna say that. Don't nobody listen to me. They all eventually say that. They all eventually mature and get older and be like, bro, this man preyed on me. They all do. They all do. At some point, she's going to resent you and hate your guts. And y'all don't want to listen to me, but I'm telling you the truth. Telling you the truth. She going to see what it really was, why you really picked her, and she's going to fucking hate you.
That you're going to be dealing with, even though they form so fine. Okay, moving on to the next country. Last but not least, and it was a toss-up. It really was a toss-up. This really was a toss-up. I hope I'm looking in the right place. This really was a toss-up. But I'm going to say India, Southeast Asia. Yeah, I'm going to say India and then regional.
I had a couple men tell me, and I don't got no skin in this game because I'm still fertile. I had a couple men, more than a couple men tell me that them women, when they get older, that it be hitting even harder. That's what they said. I'm telling you, that's what they said. I'm telling you, y'all go talk to them men that be dating older women and ask them. They be saying it's hitting. Okay? I don't know. I'm not a man. I'm just telling you, the men done told me.
The region of Southeast Asia, it's the anti-Blackness. Which again, I can never understand. Like, it blows my mind each and every time when people of color, people who are almost the same color as me or darker, just have this level of anti-Blackness. And in fact, in Indian culture, they have an insult that's kind of like the N-word called Kali, because the goddess Kali is very dark skinned and black. So they'll spew out Kali, like when they want to.
I wish I would let us
talk about somebody that's dark skinned. And I just be like, y'all really on one.
Now,
there is a woman that I know. She has a social media page, Growing Up Gupta. She is married to an Indian man, and she chronicles her journey of what happened when her husband decided that he wanted to marry her, and his family basically disowned him, and she went through hell. Luckily, after a while, the parents came around, but she has a complete platform highlighting couples that are married to, that have a Southeast Asian partner. Because a lot of those cultures are very insular. They want you to marry somebody from within their culture. They do have a lot of anti-Blackness, unfortunately. They do want proximity to whiteness, and a lot of them feel superior to Black people and intellectually superior to Black people. And I mean, in our culture, if you're Black American, in our culture, we always say the pot can't call the kettle black. The pot can't call the kettle black because a lot of kettles do try to call the pot black, overlooking a lot of the dysfunction in their own culture to highlight the dysfunction in your culture, which is just, for me, like I said, mind-blowing. But I, again, personally, as much as I love Indian culture, and obviously it's not one culture, they have multiple cultures because India is a huge country. There are many states, many regions, and many cultures. I think in general, their cultures are very beautiful. I love it. At one point, I was like obsessed with Bollywood movies and East Indian, Southeast Asian culture and everything. I do love the traditional aspect from their culture and dance. And I'm not having nobody's mama be mean to me because that might be a different situation. Bypass that and not even deal with that. So yeah, these are my top.
Okay. I don't want to. Here's the thing. I always hold space to I'm not, and I understand. This is why I'm reluctant to speak on certain things because I understand what that looks. Did somebody just send me some super chats? I already read that one. Okay, I read that one. Thank you. Okay. I understand that it looks away when I speak on certain things, especially me being a lighter complected woman or a biracial, whatever the hell y'all want to call it, so to speak. So I don't want to discount her experiences, and I'm sure she's experienced some things that I will never experience. But at the same time, I do think that she's making it harder on herself. Go back to where the men liked you. Go back to Italy. Go back to the Balkans. Readjust your expectations. You will find a man, girl. This is like single by choice. Definitely single by choice. Okay, so y'all told me to review. We going back to the Razor Ray show, and somebody Travel Wolf reviewed me. Oh, Travel AI was roasting him. Let's see what he had to
HipHop
say.
Video Enhancer is an AI video quality enhancer. You can easily convert low-resolution videos to high-resolution.
All right. What's up out there, YouTube heads, travel wolves in the building? Man, let me tell you about yesterday. Yesterday was crazy. A lot of entertainment going on.
Okay.
And there is this female out there causing all the trouble in the passport bro space right now. But let me tell you why we're here today. We're going to talk about all the passport bros getting dominated by a 5'1" American woman on YouTube. Yes, a lot of y'all might have missed it, but it was big. It was heavy. It was heavy, okay? This female was out here dominating these passport bros. And it was downright pathetic. I felt sorry for the passport bros. Okay. They have taken an L. And I'm gonna tell you why. So there's a female out here.
Why do you call me a female? I'm a woman.
I think her name is
I'm a female, but
MariahSincere. I don't know if that's her real name. Funny enough, when she talks, or I should say when Austin Holman talks, he reminds me of her. Or I mean, they talk and think the same, you know, with the sarcasm and the condescending. I don't know if anybody noticed that. But
I don't think I'm as sarcastic.
She came around Passport Bro space the other day.
Like, I try my hardest not to hurt people's feelings. But like, when you try me, I'm gonna go in. When you try me, I'm gonna go in. But I do try to like slow my thoughts and try to see stuff from other people's perspective. But like, when I see what type of time, when I see you're on fuckery, all bets are off. I'm going in.
On Razor Ray's show, and Razor Ray's is trying to get some niggy, trying to get some love. He's shooting his shots. He's calling her an 8.
No, he wasn't.
I never knew Razor Ray's had so many motherfucking teeth. I never
He did call me a
smile.
Which I mean, I don't care. I don't subscribe to all that rating stuff, but I personally, I mean, Razor Ray's has my email. If he wanted to shoot his shot, he could just email me something. He's done nothing but keep it professional with me. So I think y'all equate a man being like courteous to a woman and respectful with them trying to shoot their shot. And he's never tried to shoot his shot at me, ever.
You know, he was smiling and shucking.
He was
trying to, get some action. You know?
No, he wasn't.
He was trying to get some action, obviously.
No, he wasn't.
Crazy. But she came on the show, and I already knew it was up because I had talked about her briefly, and I said, if y'all let this female into the travel space, it's going to have all these ninjas arguing and beefing and wanting to fight with each other. And that's exactly what happened.
But like, okay. And this is not necessarily just directed at him. This is something like I've heard the homies say, and I said several men, oh, y'all let her in. I wasn't knocking on the door. Do y'all understand? Let me be very clear. I'm very grateful for the people who come watch me, because y'all could be anywhere else in the world and you're spending valuable time watching me because you like what I have to say. But like, I want to be very clear that I never had the goal when this whole thing began to like infiltrate, like people are trying to say. I just merely responded to what was said. They took this to YouTube, and I had already had a YouTube channel, so I just simply responded. Furthermore, I don't necessarily consider myself like, I just talk about my perspective on travel because I'm actually really doing that, right? It's a lot of these dudes that, and this is no shade because people got to travel when they're travel, but it's like, I feel like a lot of times the men feel like it's more acceptable for y'all to like listen to other men who don't even live outside of the United States. They'll literally be in the United States doing their podcast, but because they're a man, what they have to say is more valuable than what I have to say. And I don't necessarily agree to that because like I'm out here doing this day to day. Nevertheless, I wasn't beating on the door. What happened was people was talking shit about me. Naturally, people are going to come see what I'm talking about. And if you like it, you're going to stay. And that's what happened. That's just what happened. It wasn't me begging to be in this space, so to speak, or all of this was like organic. You feel me? You overtalk and play the guest card on it. Well, I'm gonna play whatever card I gotta play. It is what it is. Here's the thing, game changer. I would have never, if I have a guest on my show and I know this type of beef is going on, that wouldn't happen on my channel. And that's no shade, not me talking, because Razor Rays explain himself. He's good in my book. You understand? And I understand a lot of this stuff is done for shock value, entertainment. I mean, hell, people gonna forever go back and watch that live. It was epic, okay? But at the same time, it's just something nobody would ever have to come on my channel and deal with. Period. So I like to be treated the same way I would have treated anybody. And y'all have never seen me, any of the people that have come on my channel, I have treated them with the utmost respect. And it is what it is. So yeah, I'm also not gonna let you just sit quiet while you're just trying to continue to spew lies about me. Y'all can go hear from both sides. Go hear. Here's the thing. Y'all want to hear, what do you want to hear? You want to hear Homies Hub sit up and continue to lie? Because that's all he do. He don't have no valid points. He gonna sit up here and talk about she's a baby mom. He's upset that I received child support, so he's gonna talk about that. He's going to lie and say that I be fucking on all these passport bros because I had a relationship with one man that I met in Cartagena that continued to carry it on into the United States. It did not work out because he had some unfinished business, and when he finished it, I didn't want to do that no more. That's it. That it's really that simple. All they're doing is putting 20 on 10, lying and spinning a narrative. Which you want to hear them say what? Everything I say that they do, I actually have proof that they do because they say that they do it. So when I say, oh, you can't call me XYZ because you have to pay for pussy, they literally are telling y'all they gotta do that shit every time they come online. They make up lies on me. So you want me to sit up there and just, once I clarify or I say, no, this did not happen, or it's not happening the way you say, you want me to just sit there and let them go back, even though I just clarified it, and continue to repeat the lie? I'm not going through that. I'm not doing it. I'm going to put my foot on your neck after that, because now you're playing in my face. Period. So if y'all want to hear the other side, go on their channel and see. They done talked about me from Sunday to Sunday. It is what it is. Mariah, wait, you fell for the clickbait. Travel Wolf is an overweight 300-pound dude that only paid for the box. We do not care what he says. I'm not gonna listen to this whole thing. Well, that was the point, game changer. That was the point. The devil is a liar, but Satan had to get behind me. That was the point. But y'all can go to their channel and listen to what they said. We just not gonna do that in my face.
Listen, I'm gonna say this. She needs to mind her fucking business. Just mind your business. I wish a lot of people would just mind their business.
Y'all know what? I'm gonna get off of this right now. I'm gonna get off of that now. And I'm gonna tell y'all why. 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 Y'all know why. Y'all know why I have to get off of this right now. I have already told myself that I have other things. I don't want to continue to do this. So if I don't get off now and I continue and I keep talking and then I get to reacting, then y'all already know. And that's all I got to say about that. That's all I got to say about that. Not doing it. Not doing it. I have all type of stuff fired up and ready to go in my head right now. But I'm going to be mature. Mariah, what they got you on is this guy you dated in Colombia is literally a known trick, allegedly. I mean, hell, he's not in the travel space, but I mean, any man, here's the thing, Romeo. The man told me that he had paid for box in Colombia before. Okay, what I meant. Obviously, he was tricky. A lot of men trick. It just is what it is. Whether they've tricked before in the United States or they tricked in Colombia. It's a lot of men. Even our friend Robert had said that he had done pay for play before he got married. So my whole thing is this. Passport bros have to decide, are you even worthy of love? Because if that's the case, every man that done ever tricked or paid or whatever the case may be, that means a woman shouldn't give him a chance. So obviously I saw some things that in that person that I was like, you know what? I'm just going to see what he's about. And I'm going to put that to the side. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to judge you. I'm going to put that to the side. And it just did not go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't work out, you know? But what I will say is we don't talk anymore. And if he hit me up today, I want to talk to him because I have a man. I don't have any animosity towards him. And he was very cool to me. You know what I'm saying? He was very cool to me. So I don't have any animosity toward that situation. But if that's an insult to a woman, oh, she dated a trick before. You know how many women that dated dudes that spent money and tricked on them or spent money like that? To me, that's not an insult. Because here's my thing, y'all. Thank you for saying this. The question is, if you're a passport bro, why do you care what the American women are doing? You're out there looking for pros. My bad, wives. People forget that the only reason why even these beefs even started was because the men were upset at me because I was in Colombia. And I was making videos on Instagram that have nothing to do with passport bros or pay for play. And this is before I started having them viral videos. I mean, some of my videos were already going viral, but not to that extent of me just responding to them. And then I, made some videos about what was going on at the airport, not even trying to talk shit about the passport bros, just trying to let people know, hey, this could get you it was travel news. Bringing them rubbers to get you deported. And people got upset and it got blown out of proportion. And here we are, But like they be out, why don't she mind her business? And people forget this came from people not minding their business. They question, why is she here? She's a single mom. Why is she here as a single mom? Why is she Why is she like constantly questioning me and my life decisions? But now it's me that gotta mind my business. It is what it is. But as far as that, man, I'm not. I ain't doing it. What are you asking me, Romeo? Thank you, Archie. Mariah, stop falling for the clickbaits. The trolls from the other channels be in here also. Watch out for troll names. Control your peace. You're right. And that's why I said I'm not even doing it today, Archie. Not at all. What's a clear sign of low value? Yeah. Is it something ideal? Is that something that you want? Okay, let me be very clear. Now I would not date a man like that. So y'all got to understand, I was a little bit younger at the time. And that's not like, oh, I was young, I was the victim. Sometimes you have to go through the game to get the game. And me, if you watch my channel and you know my personality, You know, I'm an open-minded person. What does that mean? I'm willing to see things differently. I don't hold on to ideas, and I try to deal with people on it. I might have a general idea of something, but I try to deal with people at an individual level. And even though like people will be like, well, how can, for example, they'll see some dudes that I'm cool with. How can you be cool with such and such? They do pay for play. Just being on a friend level, because people think I don't like men that do pay for play, or I think that they're bad people. But it's like, no, I actually like got to know this person, and like they cool people. They just have a vice. Do you understand? So at that time, I think I was just trying to give the situation the benefit of the doubt and not be a judgmental person. Now that I went through that already, I don't think I would date somebody that does pay for play or has done it or did it in on a consistent basis. But at the same time, like I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, what if my boyfriend now told me he did, you know, he paid for some coochie. He never told me that. But like, what if he told me that? Would I break up with him if he told me like 5 years ago I paid for some? Would I? Probably not. I probably would not break up with him. Qué pena, amor. Estoy en vivo. Somebody else just sent me a super chat. Shout out to Piantini and Blue Mall. Shout out to them. Hold on, I'm trying to get this super chat. Thank you. Finding Love in Dominican Republic. Mariah, please put up a poll. Who's willing to pay $50 a pop to roast that travel with dude? We're here for the entertainment. 5 dudes to donate $50. If you want me to go in on him, do I want to do that? I don't think so. I don't think I want to. And the reason why I don't want to do that, y'all, is because it's very tempting because it's so easy. It's easy money. Right? You have a brand, protect the merch, protect the bag, salute. Thank you, Archie. It will be so easy to do it, right? But at the same time, y'all have to understand, I have other things going on that y'all don't know about that require me to start behaving at another level of professionalism. And it's real money type of things, not a job. Like I'm talking about when I'm telling y'all, y'all gonna have to see me, y'all gonna have to see me. You feel me? So I know y'all here to be entertained, and I want to give you what you want, but I have to be mature. Yeah, you do have somewhat your own views. You're not all the way sisterhood, but also not all the way men. I'm in the middle. Like I'm a Gemini. I see things from all perspectives. So I do try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Mariah, would you date a man that goes to strip clubs? I mean, what you mean when I go to strip club? Like you go to strip club every now and then, or he's a frequent customer? Probably not. Now, if he was just going every now and then, he going out with a friend or something like that, yeah. But if like every time I turn around, you at the strip club, no. And you know why? Because I used to work at strip clubs, and I know how the men do. I don't got anger issues. ¿Por qué no te haces un canal en español, pues? La verdad es que mi español es un poco malo y necesito practicar más, pero tal vez en el futuro es posible. Rock, y'all in here, y'all be going in the comments. Also uses stats for his argument because he's a statistician. Who are you talking about? Who is that? Who are you talking about? Okay. Let me see. Is there anything else y'all want me to review? Don't be in here being messy. Let me tell y'all something. I see a lot of, I don't respond to like majority of what I see. It's some people on here. I see you. Just know I'm pretty sure they watching. There have been people that are trying to get my attention on here and doing these reviews and making their little slick comments and all. I'm telling you, I see all of it and I be ignoring it because at the end of the day, y'all just want attention. Y'all just want to insert yourself into beef and drama. You just want some clout. Y'all just want to keep me tied up in all the bullshit. And I got other shit to talk about, to be honest. Right, keep the stuff in check. Some of these dudes have personal beef with each other. You don't have to address everything. Protect the brand. You right, Archie. Okay, y'all get the likes up. Now, let me see. I think I had one more thing I wanted to talk about, and then I'm going to get off of here because it's getting late. And my man want me to call him. Okay. Hold on. Oh, y'all, should I save this one for tomorrow? I think I'm gonna save this for tomorrow because it's gonna be the headline. But I had one more thing I want to talk about. No, that ain't it. No, I saw this woman, and y'all tell me, y'all give me your opinion. And I think this might be one of the reasons why dating in America is so just bad right now. And I could bring up men saying stuff too, but I had to react to this. Did I save it? I'm gonna have to find it. You know what? I'm gonna get off of here right now, and we're gonna have a whole nother discussion. Thank you so much. Men pay at all the times as a husband, boyfriend, or trick. There is no delineation. I don't agree with that because you gotta understand, if you in a relationship with a woman that loves you, sometimes she paying too. So is she paying for the peen? Or, she doing stuff for you and she giving her time too. And she invested into that relationship too. So is y'all both tricking on each other? Just questions that need answers. Everybody tricking? Okay. I think he'll be back. I don't think he quit. I think he'll be back. But that was funny. That was funny. Okay, guys, on your way out, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll be coming back on probably earlier tomorrow. And thank y'all for everybody that hit the like, and special shout out to everybody who hit that donation button. You could have been spending your money anywhere else, but you spent it with me. By tomorrow, when I come on live, I will have my consultation services up for those of y'all who really need advice about how to deal with these women, okay? Or you need some raw advice and you want to come to a safe space from somebody that's not going to put your business out there or make fun of you. You want to hear it from a woman's perspective. I got y'all. I'm going to add that as a service to my website, and then it will be available tomorrow, okay? With that said, I will see y'all tomorrow night.